All right, we're good. Get this. Good morning and welcome to today's live show. We're going to do a little breakdown at the end of this video, so make sure to tune into the last 15 minutes of the video so you can see a little breakdown. Yo, Double Dark, what up? Coming on a little bit late, but that's okay. We're here pretty much right at the open, so let's pay attention going forward, seeing if we're going to get some kind of volatility in. If you look at volatility, we did see a pop in that. We are seeing some divergence here for the volatility, so I'm seeing if the SPY is able to gain some ground here, or if we're going to end up going to lower levels first. We'll pay attention to that. The Q is already heading lower, looking like they could go down towards that daily expected move for the day, so we'll pay attention to that. And good morning, drink your coffee, get ready for the day. Let me put on some headphones and stuff real quick, get kind of locked in. But noticing across the board, what do we have? Tesla up 2% to start the morning. We have, I'm pretty sure AMC and GME are down, but Apple heading, trying to get some kind of bounce here, actually with some kind of divergence. So we'll pay attention to that. I'm really going to wait for things to give me actual setups outside of their weekly ranges. How high up is Tesla's weekly range, by the way? Because that's a pretty big move. Let's look at that right away. Oh, it looks like it can go higher. Oh, it can go significantly higher, actually. Okay, so it can go a few points higher than here, that's for sure. Looking at Amazon, this one here starting to fade. I was kind of looking at this 30-minute divergence, seeing if that wants to at least pull back at some point. That's overall what it says to me right there. The NVIDIA play here dropping down to lower levels. This 15-minute, you really thought that this was looking like some kind of maybe even double bottom, some kind of rejection. Maybe we get another rejection here for the actual point of divergence. You see we're setting that up right now here on the RSI. If I can click on that to bring it up real quick, you can see we're setting up that point on the RSI. So pay attention if NVIDIA catches a bid here, because you do have a 15-minute divergence behind it. It means we could curl up maybe an hourly chart, right? We can curl up an hourly chart, see that thing go a little bit higher. If this thing wants to pop up for me, there we go. You notice that if the hourly did cross, we would see positive territory right above us, so we'll pay attention to that when it's happening. But for now, we'll just click it through. Seeing AMD saying hourly pullback as of right now, and you're still pretty close to that center line. So the 30-minute, is that going to go negative? Really wanted to see that roll up if we're going to see more positivity, but starting to point towards negative territory. We'll pay attention to that throughout the day. Now, Meta did have an interesting look to it, you know, the pullback on the 2-hour. So Meta really looks like we actually could be heading up from this area. We'll pay attention to that as well. But let's see if this is able to cross. If that's able to cross, well, then we have a weekly expected move over on Patreon. And just a quick reminder, guys, this is pretty much like the last week to get the course at $100, just to mention that very early on if you want to learn some of this stuff. But it looks like we can head almost like 7 points higher for Meta, so we'll pay attention. It's mainly saying right around this high, we might run into trouble this week if we can get there early on. That's what that overall means. Okay, Microsoft, what do we notice here? Well, I was looking at this morning on a 30-minute, seeing if this would cross, because technically, I guess this would be possibly a triple divergence. Okay, so you have a lot of divergence going on here, closer to negative territory. Microsoft, I know, doesn't have the biggest implied volatility, which is interesting that it's showing weakness. But it can head down somewhere around like 440, looks like a likely area for this to pull back to. We'll see if that's able to happen going forward. Google again, trying to pull back on a 30-minute. No real reversal signals here for the 30-minute. Let's go look at a 2-hour real quick. 2-hour, what do we notice? No real reversal signals there at all. So we could see some kind of dip down and maybe another purchase back up. It looks like things are looking like they could bleed up into July. We'll see if that's able to happen. AMC and GME, these guys have not curled up on a 30-minute. That means no positivity will come, really. So we have to cross up and go positive to see positivity. GME, you're noticing some divergence down here forming. So GME actually, I would say, looks a little bit better than AMC as of right now. You have divergence along these lows. You have divergence on the RSI at the same time. If that can confirm, well, you got to get above 27.79. Okay, 27.79, very, very important there. Yeah, I was looking at DJT just a little bit this morning. I was like peeking at it, and I was like, damn, it in the pre-market was popping up. So crossing up on the 2-hour, the thing is, look how deep in negative territory you are. So you want to treat this as some kind of bounce for now. But you notice the last time we got a bounce for, well, actually, I guess we got this little turn up right here, and then we turn back down. So let's see if we're able to bounce from these levels, right? We want to see if we're able to bounce from these levels. Maybe we'll see something like this happen again, where we go up to something like $35, start to back off, and then see that rip again. We'll have to pay attention to that going forward. But you'd have to say negative territory, right? So you want to see if that's able to make the strong base before you head up, stronger base before you head up. And that's kind of what happened here a little bit. We at least tried to do some tapering, right? We tried to do some tapering, and then we just saw a big bounce once we curled up. So if this curls up, hey, you know, there's a chance we could see something crazy. Let's look at a daily scale. On the daily scale, you'd say this thing is very negative. It's below the 200, not a very good thing. So you need these to start closing above the 9 before you actually get bullish on this overall. So we'll pay attention to that going forward, but doesn't look the prettiest. SMCI on a 2-hour here, pulling back still, right? It still says pullback as of right now for SMCI. We'll see if that's able to turn back up one more time. And NVIDIA down 2%, 2.4. Oil up. Palantir down. Gold up. Gold, I don't know if you can decide what you want to do, man. Started the day with a long position on the VIX, but lost conviction on it. Took a 1% gain. Yeah, I think the 30-minute on the VIX kind of tells you, like, hey, just be a little careful, right? If I saw this, I'd be thinking of shorting volatility a little bit, but it's interesting to see this kind of look, and then the SPY's not really at lower levels, so we'll see if maybe the SPY gets a late reaction to this, goes down a little bit, and then see around that daily expected move. But maybe, I mean, honestly, you'd like to see this down more with that kind of move, and the Q is already hitting towards a daily expected move, so that'll be interesting going forward. XLU dropped off dramatically again, so another drop down, and these aren't the right ranges. I could update those real quick, actually. 70.04. But XLU still holding at lower levels, so I think it's calling the downturn before it actually happens. Oh, whoop, that's not the right one. $20, that'd be crazy. 68.74, is that the level? All right, so it holds up at that weekly expected move right away. You see it come down towards that area. So that low pretty much is very important for XLU. We'll see if this is able to turn down, turn back up. We'll see on the SPY. Compared to that, the Qs, well, look at these, heading down towards that daily expected move. Let's see if we see any kind of reaction down at this level. If we have any kind of turnaround signals on the shorter time frames. Computer's being a little glitchy today. You don't necessarily have the best points of divergence here either, just so you're aware, but the Q's heading down towards a daily expected move very early on in the day. We'll see what happens with that going forward. So what are you guys looking at today? How's everyone doing out there? Holy crap, $6. MLGO busting out. Okay, yeah, I was looking at this morning too. Yeah, okay, so I was looking at this morning. I believe it was like a 2-hour scene, if that can go positive. Daily turns up, like that's kind of what I'm looking for here. There you go, daily turned up, so you're pretty much confirming more upside for MLGO if that confirms. We'll see, or at least your indicator's telling you that. Your indicator's just, if this is able to end green, then that's saying daily momentum is with you and you can start to see a big move. We'll see what happens with that going forward. GME, as far as I see, is trying to flip back to positive here. Remember, for GME, mainly a 2-hour. 2 hours is going to be the most important here, I think. And you have to see that turn back up. We need that momentum back for GME to see some kind of pop. But as of right now, it's pretty much breaking even. And AMC trying to catch up but not doing the best job, right? Down 1%. Japanese mayo. Oh, I'm so down for a Japanese mayo sandwich. Oh my goodness, I'm so down. PayPal, you're looking to buy. Yeah, I think we looked at PayPal a couple times. What I'd really like to see from PayPal is a stronger base. This is a great time to say this could be a moment where you're actually going to see this double bottom or something. You're actually going to see tapering. Notice this move, no tapering in this move. So if we're able to just do this, even just that, and hold up at this level, we see something like this happen, that would be fantastic. It really, really would. Maybe you'd even see it pretty clearly on the hourly here. Just see that kind of turn down, turn back up. You see the tapering. Boom, there's the entry point for you. Like, it's very, very good. It just overall says like, hey, momentum could die out with one more down push. I just really like to see that momentum dying out for PayPal. If we look into a 30-minute, that thing's going positive. So what you could see in this overall next move is some kind of like drop like this, pop, drop like this, and then we see that. That would be fantastic to see, right? Getting it on a 30-minute and then looking at it on a 2-hour, seeing both at the same time. I don't think NVIDIA is done for good. By Biggie about AMC, I know it's kind of confirmation bias, but very interesting at least to have fun about it. What's his take, if you don't mind, Trevor? Try to sum it up real quick. Amazon. Let's go look at Amazon again. So see, Amazon, the reason I'm talking about like some potential pullback or something is because there's a little 30-minute divergence. So if you click into a 15, you're going to see this little 15-minute divergence. That just tells you, hey, the trend can flip around for a little bit. So I'll pay attention to it, but I want to see if that's able to hold up and then just turn back up into positive territory on like a 30-minute or a 2-hour. That's pretty much what I'm paying attention to there. But I have daily ranges for this, and I don't think we're even close, so... I wouldn't think that this is just like game over for the stock. I think that usually it's like the initial down push, then you see another upward push to kind of fake people out, and then retail piles in even more, and then we see some problems. So that's not necessarily a good thing. What are we noticing about the dollar? Well, the SPY's down while the dollar is down, so you could say there is overall insider buying going on as of right now because this is down. So there was buying last night in this area is what you have to say. Now, was that pretty dramatic buying? Let me see here. Usually the 2-hour bars are pretty... Yeah, see the buying going on last night? So there is buying overnight, so pay attention to that. That could mean we're going to see some upward moves, and we'll pay attention. But for now, it just looks like, hey, some buying could be coming into the market. But we're not down towards any ranges, anything like that. I mean, really, this is still saying 2-hour pullback. So I want to see some kind of reversal signal like this 15-minute. Which is starting to violate that signal, by the way. Do you see how it's like flat now? So we want to see this 15-minute actually gain some steam, probably. Because you're starting to violate the divergences, which is not a good sign for NVIDIA. So that just tells me, hey, the 2-hour is still saying pullback for NVIDIA. Is the daily curling over? Well, we got to see. All right, there you go. Daily's curling over. So if this bar actually holds, I'm not. I mean, it's part of my strategy. I just stay away from the stock for a little bit. If I want to go like long on it, then that would be a little difficult because daily momentum is confirming down here. And we do have the AMC and GME problem, and GME is starting to go positive. So what did we say? Well, most of the time, and this is why it's important to understand all those trades going into dark pools on Friday, right? The volume for GME in the actual lit market looked like crap, but all the volumes going into dark pools. I just think like NVIDIA going down is them trying to buy the stock, I think they're selling NVIDIA off in order to buy the stock or suppress the stock even further, but I'm not seeing that in the short sale volume. So that would tell me most likely they are buying at these lower levels. Because the amount of shares that people hold right now, it's just like this stock can't go below probably like $20. It probably can't at this point. And you would say AMC, it probably can't go below like $4.37, $4. I would say $4 most likely. It can't. It just would be very difficult to do that. It would cost a lot of money, a lot of borrowed shares. So the fact that GME isn't popping here might even just mean they're suppressing the stock with their purchases from NVIDIA, and then we see another rig move up, right? Check the Dow screaming higher. Dow's been going on a freaking tear, dude. And this is why you don't really like mess with daily momentum. Like, look at this momentum here, and then it looks bad on the next bar, but we just keep going up. So the Dow is just going at this point, and we have to see if there's any kind of reversal signal here. There's not. So as of right now, you would just say, hey, overbought. Okay, so overbought just tells me, hey, maybe this isn't the best time to get in. Maybe I at least want to see a 30-minute pullback at this point because I'm creating some divergence up at these levels. If that starts to fade out and then get by the center line, that would be better for me. But for now, it's just not looking the prettiest. But it does look like some insider buying going on to me. There you go, the Q. See, this is why these levels are the best support and resistance. Right away, you see, hey, we're starting to wick up from that area. That's a good thing. So there you go. The trap might already be set. PCC level sitting at 0.96. Okay, so everyone's shorting the market now. Most likely the market does start to get some kind of bounce here. That's at least what it looks like from all the indications. It looks like some kind of bounce from here would make the most sense. Look at that, 30-minute turns up. Okay, now we have to go pay attention to the upside by the end of the day, probably. So we'll see what happens this morning. The SPY not able to break down. The Qs were. So now the Q is going down towards daily expected move. Awesome. Now we know that there's a 68% chance we like bounce from that area or land above it by the end of the day. So the fact that we're hitting it early on is something to pay attention to. Oh, CrowdStrike. I forgot which. CrowdStrike. I always forget the ticker for CrowdStrike. Okay, CRWD. Okay, dipped way down, then back up. This is another test of the breakdown area. So like if the price action was up here, we would say like, what do you really not want to lose? Well, the first point would be like these wicks. And notice that we compiled up at it and then we kind of do this little gap and it just goes down. So now we're coming to retest that area again, right? We almost, I would say we retested it pretty much here, like flat on. But right here, you actually went inside it, so we'll pay attention to it. Do I see the best basing out here? Not necessarily, but the 2 hour is close to the center line. So this would be like a swing trader's setup, right? And that's what we're going to probably add is some kind of swing trading thing. I was thinking of making like a, because some people were asking, they just kind of want to learn swing trading, maybe not the other stuff. So I was thinking of putting some of the indicator videos in just a different, cheaper course, and swing trading is pretty simple. And then adding like crypto to it and investing to that, and then I'll add investing to both maybe. But I'm paying attention to that. I just got some emails about how some people just want to take swing trading, and I think that's perfectly fine. Swing trading, very, very easy. It'll get you good at looking at the MACD. So I'm thinking about doing that. We'll see going forward, but really with CrowdStrike here, hey, this 2 hour that curls up, okay, swing trade. So this would be it closes above the moving averages. So you're going to see that turn up. Okay, and then we want to look out for some kind of divergence. I wish I had a weekly range for this. I really, really did. XLU already dropping down. So XLU looks like it might not get the most steam. And then Apple here, you notice, hey, where is it? Right by that center line. So the swing trade could be in for Apple here. Video down by the center line. Trying to see things like Meta by the center line. That's always good. Apple, do you have a big move priced in? Let's see if it has a big move priced in. That usually helps us out a little bit. Not really. Apple does not have a big move priced in, so this could get interesting. All right, people talking on Twitter. That's funny. All right. Look at the daily. What's going on the daily? A little bit different. Daily's probably got the divergences to the upside, doesn't it? No, you just saw the RSI, so there could be a further pullback here. Where did you pull back to? Well, if you need liquidity, it's right. If we need a little bit of liquidity, you drop down to here. If you need more, you probably drop down to this box, honestly. So we'll pay attention to it. As of right now, you're getting some kind of bounce. You want to see if that 2 hour can curl up. What I would like to see before a bounce happens is dying out in momentum. Am I necessarily seeing that? No, I'm not seeing the momentum really die out here. So what I would like to maybe see is this to just keep going sideways for a little bit. and then dip down one more time, give me some kind of tapering move, because right now you're still in a downward direction. You're trying to get that different, you're trying to go upward right now. We'll pay attention to it, but I just really want to look at it from a swing trading perspective, and swing trading perspective would say, hey, yeah, 2 hour curls up, that might be all the dip you get. If the 2 hour doesn't curl up, well, then you would be saying, okay, that daily is probably going to start to roll over. Maybe we're seeing more of a pullback than what was there originally. So we'll pay attention to it. As of right now, I did notice that GME is still going positive here for now. So you got to get a 2 hour to curl up. And AMC down 1.65% now. So there you go, a little bit lower. And 437 might hit that support level. Remember, the level to get above, like to see a gamma squeeze, is going to be 536. 536. And there is a downward move, guys. There is always a downward move. Implied volatility does not mean a stock has to go up. It can easily go the other direction, okay? So if you want that other level, that's over on Patreon. It's in the link in the description. It's pinned to the top, right? So yeah, AMC, just funky how much good news. Like now they're working on the debt. It's like they might get the debt refinance, something like that, right? And it's like they're working on debt, they're producing great numbers, and stock go down. So this is just, I think, algorithmic BS right here. A little bit more volume in this bar so far than on Friday, so that's a good sign. Maybe they're not messing with it as much today. GME, what's the volume in this? Yeah, not a ton of volume in that either. Netflix, has anyone tried their popcorn? Netflix, one thing about it was the 30-minute double top. So it had a 30-minute double top that's confirming as of right now, but that's still a pretty big move. I don't think a ton of massive moves are priced in for this week. The weirdest part for me is just like the SPY has a big move, right? The SPY has a big move, and you see the 30-minute curling up, positive territory. So where could it head to? Well, the first point we want to pay attention to, if this thing wants to curl up right here, is going to be that 547.79, and maybe we just do something like this. Maybe we get the lower high, we'll see from that area, and then maybe this wants to go you know, get some kind of 30-minute divergence. That would be nicer, right? That we need a good look. You think DJT will run after the like rally or whatever, or the, what is it? The debate. Yeah, that's what it is. The debate. Well, if anything, you would say DJT actually showing like the short interest very highly. Like you can actually see that data, whereas AMC and GME, you have to like dig a little deeper. But you can actually see it on DJT. I think it has like a 60% short interest. So that's a lot. That's kind of a lot. So what you could normally say from that is like, okay, this thing might be being suppressed at this point. So we want to see dying out momentum is the thing. That's what I would like to see. I don't just want to YOLO into anything. I type DJT and it just doesn't pop up. I mean, the numbers are still updating, so everything's working. Can I not look at the DJT chart? All right, I guess we can't look at other stocks today. Let me pull it up on my other computer, see if something's like not working right. Okay, it's working over here. There we go. So yeah, see the 2 hour curls up. I just really want to see, well, the 30-minute here at the bottom, you didn't really see the best, but it did have divergence. You see that marker right here saying there could be some kind of bounce. So this right here said, hey, contrarian bullish indication, but we're still far away from positive territory. We're there now. So we just got there. We'll see what happens from here, but does this look like the best basing out? No, but you do have a divergence at the low. So I just wanted to show you in the past where you make a ton of divergences along here. This just went straight down pretty much. So we'll pay attention to it, but the 30-minute divergence down there is saying, hey, yeah, take a chance. And now that chance is paying off as the 2 hours able to curl up. We'll find out if that's able to do something special, but right now you would say, hey, well, we got a big reaction over here and then we dropped right back down. So we'll see if this is able to drop down. We'll pay attention to it, but for now you would say, hey, that's a good sign for some kind of bounce from DJT. The volatility, I just want to see if this 2 hour is actually able to curl over with the 30-minute divergence. That's why we were leaning towards the SPY getting some kind of bounce. And look at that, it's getting some kind of bounce. So we got to see the SPY on a 30-minute, see if that's able to curl up. It was. So now you would say the first target for the day would be getting somewhere around that 547.79. I'd say we probably have a good shot to go up to this level and then test the high, and then after that we really got to pay attention to 552.95. But the good thing is we saw this, we see how it's holding up a little bit better, we see that the dollar was dropping off dramatically, showing us the insider buying. Awesome. Now we see the pop. DJT still running over here. Let's see if GME is actually turning up on a 30-minute here. Oh, that's interesting. So if you actually go over to GME and you look at a 30-minute chart here, what do you see at the low here? Well, we actually see divergence. So this is momentum dying out. These type of things do turn up 2 hour charts. So this would be an early indication like, hey, the momentum to the downside is dying. If that can confirm, that's what that is saying. You're really close to positive territory. So 30-minute curls up, you might see a good move, and your daily or your weekly expected move for this guy isn't as big, which, you know, would, a lot of people are like, oh, I want a big expected move. Well, that means that the options market is expecting it, right? So what it told me by saying that the implied volatility for GME was lower, you know, all the time AMC actually has a lower implied volatility than GME. It's still over 100%, but this week GME actually has lower than AMC, I believe. Let me double check on that, but I'm pretty sure it's lower. Yeah, it's lower than AMC, which just tells me, okay, if the 2 hour curls up, we can get above a easier level. That tells me that they're not expecting this right here. So a gamma squeeze is literally when some kind of unexpected price action happens, right? So an unexpected thing for this week would be to get up to 27.79. Last week, it was much higher, right? Last week, it was like this, right? The range was much bigger. Now it's a little bit lower, which tells me they don't expect any kind of upward push as of right now. So if it got an upward push, that actually could cause the gamma squeeze if we start to get above 27.79. Now, that's also an area where you have to pay attention because 68% of the time we'll close below this line right here by Friday. But this also would tell me, hey, this is the area where they're either going to fight the stock or this is the area where we see some kind of gamma squeeze. So we'll pay attention to that. Maybe we're going to get some kind of announcement or something like that. That would be cool. Charts like to predict that type of stuff, right? You see a 30-minute divergence and then an announcement comes out. So that happens with Apple all the time, at least. You know, I pay attention a lot to Apple. Apple's one of the ones I've traded the most. What do we see here? A divergence. So you're probably, you know, there's a good likelihood some kind of good news will come for Apple soon if this wants to complete. If they want to complete this, that is. As of right now, PCC is starting to drop off just a little bit here, but overall still higher, and we do have the insider buying. So we'll pay attention to the upside. Looks like that's the most likely thing for the SPY this morning. Dang, already jinxing it. 3 stocks I buy for deep value and conviction: GME, TJT, LPSN. Biggest theory is a little complicated to explain in text, but basically the volatility is predictable. Again, it's kind of confirmation bias, but it's something to at least look at. So he's saying the volatility is predictable. Well, the volatility, you would say, is actually not the most predictable. I mean, if you want to say this is like extreme volatility, I would more so say for the stock, it's not. You have over 100%, right? You have over 100% for this stuff. And look, you're getting a 7% move up and a 7% move down and a 10% move down. I get that. But usually this type of thing is not what you see when the implied volatility is high. Usually you'll see like rapid move up that fades back down dramatically, then rapid move up dramatically down, and then we see like it happen the other way, right? We see something like this, 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 like you would see more of that type of price action. This you're kind of just see, okay, kind of in this area range, a little bit bigger moves, and then just fall off dramatically. Volatility should go both ways, but it's not really going to the upside. So that was as of last week, though. We'll see. It's a new week. We'll pay attention to it. The volatility for these things is a little bit lower, but for AMC, the volatility is higher than GME, and GME is already seeing like a positive price action, a negative price action into a positive, into a negative. So I'd have to look into what he's actually talking about, though, when it comes to like trying to base it off of the volatility. Yeah, scary trade, made 3,300 off MLG. Hey, congratulations, Scott. Let me go look here for one moment. Oh, I did have some pictures to show you guys, but I have them on my phone. So yeah, I wanted to show the insider selling from, oh god, World War III's trending again. Jesus. Someone with my exact thought right at that moment. I click on the, like, it said World War III, so I was wondering if anything happened out there. And the first guy that tweeted was just like, why is World War III trending? And I was like, oh god, that's exactly why I clicked on it. I went protection shopping over the weekend. Got me a nice Glock. When deep fucking value calls purchases happened relating to overall volume volatility cycles. That's my understanding. Yeah. Okay. So he's more saying like a volume type thing. Okay, that makes sense. Now, what you would take from the volume perspective is when did he overall buy that option, right? You want to see when he bought the option, but I don't know necessarily. He's been buying those options a lot in here, and then we see the pop, and then he exercises down in here. I'll have to look at his videos and see what he says about it. Right now you have terrible volume for AMC, terrible volume for GME, and now it's starting to come down. So I guess you could say like the fact that we came down like this and then we saw the pop, maybe he's saying a similar thing of now volume is starting to coil up and a big move is coming in one direction, right? It could be either way. But you know, that is what you see. You see contraction, right? So we contract for a little bit. Sure, you get some little bounces, but you contract and then you bounce. Then you contract and then you bounce. So if volume comes back in at any time, we'll see what happens. AMC as well. You see it's just been contracting. Little bounce here, now contracting. So we'll see, but for now, I just want to pay attention to my signals. I need a 2 hour to cross up. You can see it on the MACD right down there. You can see it blatant right there. You're just like, okay, I need to see that cross back up. GME, as far as the volume goes, you see how it's moving just down. Okay, now it's contracted. Right? The last time it was really high, way up here. Well, we moved down. Sure, we got the big selling, but we moved down, all the way down. And then the day that we got the lowest amount of volume, boom, we see a big drop. That's why it can happen to the downside. Then as you remain at these lower levels, yeah, sure, these get just a little bit lower. So I think I get it as far as if he's just paying attention to volume moves. But this here is more like, hey, we have a 30-minute divergence the way that I do things. The way that I do things is this, right? And maybe you look at volume at the same time and you use it as another reason to take a trade. But at this moment, I would say, hey, a 30-minute divergence looks fantastic. Hold on one second here. NNE, what do you use for placing trades? I'm actually switching to Thinkorswim. So I actually have an account now on Thinkorswim and I'm gonna give it a whirl. So that's what I'll be using for my regular trading. And then for my fun account, I have Robinhood for the fun account, which is kind of probably a bad thing, but I do have Robinhood for the fun account. And then I have Thinkorswim's what I'm going to play with for now. Because I've heard some good things about it. Maybe you guys can attest to that too if anyone uses Thinkorswim out there. Oxy. I think my dad owns this stock. Ooh, okay. 30-minute curl up. That'd be nice. 30-minute curl up would be nice. Down here at the bottom, you have a 2-hour divergence. Yeah, there it is. So this was the real trade. It was right here. Boom, right there. That was a great trade. 60 all the way up to 60, about 63. Yeah, I don't like, I've actually used Webull years ago and I didn't enjoy it very much. So I'm kind of trying to find a platform more for like quicker trades, and I think Thinkorswim would be good, like for the quicker swings. Like, so for my 2-week plays, I'd really like to look at Thinkorswim, so that's what I'm gonna try. Okay. LRE. Lead real estate. Oh my god. Yeah, that one's hard to catch, but you just see the upward move. Okay, boom. See, this would be like swing trader says yes. Okay, it goes up. That's kind of just a good swing trade right there. As far as it goes, price action wise, there's no real analysis to do here as far as momentum goes. It's just very, very upward momentum that could need a pullback soon. Yeah, Mumu keeps emailing me asking for sponsorship, but whenever I like look at their website, like kind of look at their stuff, I'm just like, I'm not fully into it. I can't tell you to buy or sell anything. I can tell you it's cooked to the upside, but you know, these things might not matter. So I don't know what's going on with this stock. I'm telling you right now, I don't see any reversal signals. I just see very, very overbought on a 30-minute. I see very, very overbought on a 2-hour. I see very, very overbought on a daily. Now, if this is getting some kind of squeeze in any kind of way, I don't know enough about that for this particular one. I would just say the actual entry point was, if you're a swing trader, would have been 520, and then if you wanted extra confirmation, it actually would have been 606, and you would have been outside of the Bollinger. So that would have been a ballsy move, but that's what it confirmed, so it makes sense. Now, you might say, okay, well, what else is confirming that kind of thing right now? Well, actually, this one right here. So MLGO actually confirming similar to what that just happened on that other stock we just looked at, right? It's confirming another one here, but you want to see if that prints by the end of the day, and then maybe you could see an upward push. So just pay attention to it. But for now, you would say, like, if you're looking for some kind of swing trade, that's what a swing trader would look for. You got room on the Bollinger Band to the upside towards $9. So I charge on TradingView on my desktop, and I do most of my trading on my phone with Webull app. Also hold my day wage already. Hey, there you go. Good job, Polar Bear. That's what I want to see. Hey, that's good. AMC to the moon 420. Yeah, SMCI, this one turning down, mainly just saying 2-hour pullback. Watch out if that daily crosses over. The 2-hour pullback's what I'm looking at for now. Am I seeing any reversal signals? That's kind of what I have to look for here, not necessarily on a 30-minute. You could probably argue the 15-minute is seeing something, but it doesn't look like the best divergences. So do we have to bounce from here? No. But this is kind of what I'm getting at when it comes to like volatility, right? So when you have volatility in a stock, big push up, like it's more smooth like this. You see those moves and then you get the move down, right? So the fact that AMC is just kind of going like that's just a little fishy to me. HSY. Oh, Hershey. This is where I played soccer. I played soccer against the Hershey soccer team. They have like a semi-pro team there. That's who I used to play against. This one here, you see the divergence at the lows. So all these divergences here really add up. Now, not the most clear, so maybe we want an hourly. Okay, hourly entry never curled back over at this level right here. So that would just tell me I could have been in the move over here. Yeah, I saw a pullback, maybe a scale-in opportunity on a 30, 15 minute, and then you see that thing bounce, but you're still in negative territory. Overall, is this looking good on a 2 hour? You had 2 hour divergence. These like to roll up daily charts. You're still far away from the center line, but this right here told you, hey, the 2 hour opportunity is here on this bar, and then you want to see some upside from that. Well, it never curled back down, so this can start to curl up. We'll see what happens with it going forward, but that's what it looks like to me. And if you know, we were actually talking about, you know, things that would hold value over time, and I was talking with my wife about it, and I was like gold and coffee, and then she was like, oh, and chocolate, right? Of course her brain goes to chocolate, but she said chocolate, and I was like, oh, I kind of was like, yeah, that's kind of valid. Like, it makes sense. Like, chocolate is highly in demand and shrinking every year, so we'll pay attention to that. But if the daily can curl up with that little 2 hour divergence, the only problem for me is you're still a little far away. Like, that's a big move, and you're not even going close to the center line. So it would make a lot of sense to do just maybe even a higher low at this point on a 30 minute. I think that would make a lot of sense. This 30 minute just keeps going. You see how it's overbought. You see some kind of pull down and pull back up. That would be very, very nice. But the 2 hour already gave you the signal way back here, like, hey, there's upside potential. If you're managing the trade, this would have been difficult. So this maybe was a scale-in opportunity, as you see, hey, big drop down, trying to base out like this. Okay, that doesn't work out. Now we're going like this. Then we go like this. Now we can go like this maybe. So we'll pay attention to it, but, or I guess, well, we'll see if we look at Hershey again. But right now you would just say, hey, I'm getting a 2 hour bounce. You can't necessarily say this is full recovery. If that daily crosses over though, daily momentum can start to really kick in. So I get it, because you have the 2 hour divergence. Bitcoin was seeing some rough price action. This thing's daily has just been going down and down and down. This would be an area where you expect some kind of bounce. You just kind of hope that that bounce isn't just like this and then drops one more time. If you start to lose this 200, it looks a little bit scarier. We could cut through all this, right, and just end up back in this zone. I think that zone would be a great place for a bounce if we head a little bit lower. Which is 51,000. That's another $10,000 down in value. Oh man, the daily side for gold starting to want to turn up, but you just look so flaggy in here, don't you? Don't you just look very, very flaggy at this point? So we'll pay attention to it, but I want to see maybe the 2 hours showing us. Yeah, it's dipping down. Not really breaking down though. All right, let's go back over to the SPY real quick. Ooh, starting to fade a little bit. They're like, no, 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 we need retail to buy more puts. We need them to buy more puts. That was in the overnight, so that's the main thing to watch. This actually did confirm, so volatility did confirm the downward, the negative divergence there. Dow Jones just going, dude. Dow Jones just going. Yo, is it rude if I go up to, yeah, polar bear. Hopefully that was a little bit helpful, Paulina. I buy puts so I can sell puts. God, I hope I get a Japanese sandwich. You know, when you just like, I'm pretty hungry. I have to go tell her. Okay, Paulina, I was making sure that was helpful, because sometimes I'm like, yeah, sometimes it's not the best look, especially when you come into something just a little bit late. But yeah, I used to play against the Hershey soccer team way back in my semi-pro days. That's an NNE. You with his radio strong buy, debating on whether to hold it or sell. Ooh, okay, so right away, what do we see, chat? Right away, what do we see? Someone say it for Steven here. Now, this isn't like the worst signal in the world, but fuck SMCI. Yeah, true. Yeah, so right away, what you're seeing here is upward price action. You're seeing momentum start to die out. It hasn't crossed over yet, but this crossing over would convince you that there may be another pullback, right? A pullback at least. And then this could actually go negative. So if this crosses right here, it pretty much says, hey, if it crosses like this, there's no reason for upside yet, at least controlled, like confirmed upside. So if you want to, you would most likely see this type of thing happen and curl back up, just because you're still overbought and you have momentum kind of dying out. You could roll over a 2 hour. What would be the benefits of rolling over a 2 hour? Well, look at this big move. It's an awesome move. It really is. And then what you could see is that 2 hours start to come down like this and then just curl right back up. And that would be a better look for a trade. At this moment, if I was able to catch this move, see how we curled up near positive territory right here? Boom. Positive move. You're looking for that again. You're looking for that again. Stocks go up and stocks go down. They move kind of like ebb and flow, right? So you have to pay attention to if it is very overbought. Yes, obviously it can go higher. Anything can always go higher, but you just want to pay attention to your risk. Right now, there's risk of a 2 hour pullback, in my opinion. What's LPTV? You guys look at crazy stuff. Loop Media. I mean, you do have 2 hour divergence right here. So you see this 2 hour divergence. It's very like light, like it's very little, but you see the tapering, you see the little 2 hour divergence. Okay, boom. Okay, awesome. We see a big move that fades immediately. It just fades immediately. So what I'd like to look for is, like in stocks like these, what I like to see is at least some kind of divergence at the lows for me to scale into. Now it's just difficult because this isn't like the best looking stock, right? So this doesn't look the prettiest. The daily, you have a ton of divergences though. You're positive, but you're kind of seeing just downward pressure. So I don't know, this is probably a short selling problem at this point because, you know, with these divergences, you're going to see bigger pops than this, in my opinion. So is this a short seller problem? Condoms. Yeah, Nvidia's diversion on the daily. I don't know if I necessarily saw that, but go to GameStop. Okay, GameStop starting to try. Like I said, 2 hour curling up. That's the main thing here. You need a stronger bit of momentum to come in. It tried to right here, right? It tried to right here. They don't allow it, right? They don't allow it. So not allowed, sorry. We have the right around here. So this is why it's cool, because it leads up to events, right? The price action, the MACD, all these turning up leads to events. Where did this cross up actually happen? Well, this cross up happened, and then a few hours later, we actually had the GME annual meeting, right? So the GME annual meeting was right here, and that's where the suppression happened. And now we're seeing a moment where something else could happen right here. You're going to hope that this is mostly going to cause like institutions to get into buying because they have more money than retail. They can push it up. And then after that, then you could see some kind of gamma squeeze. You got to get above 27.79. So you got to curl up this guy right here. But solid going positive. AMC starting to make a tiny bit of a comeback. It's only down, it was down almost 2%, I think, about almost 2%. Now it's back to down 0.88. So NVIDIA, yeah, let's go look at NVIDIA again real quick. So NVIDIA on the daily, I don't know if there was necessarily divergence here. You have it kind of on the RSI, just not on the MACD at the same time. So I think this will be overall a pullback. And I know I said major top in 30 days, and well, as of right now, we're getting the first bigger pullback, right? This is a pretty sudden pullback for NVIDIA, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing, but I'm always willing to be wrong. I think that we could have the opportunity to kind of just mess around for a little bit and then turn right back up and create some kind of double top. I think that would be very likely. It depends on what happens here. Maybe it just starts to go. We'll find out if the AMC and GME thing happens, but we need to start to see reversal signals from the SPY, and we're not even seeing a daily crossover yet. So that's something very interesting to pay attention to. You're getting a curl up of the 30-minute, so we'll see if this can head a little bit higher. I did think it was interesting that the implied volatility for the week was bigger, but the implied volatility for the day, not the most massive, right? Not the most massive. The Q's testing that, starting to head back up. We'll see. Yeah, I've heard of like they looked into about 4 major banks. One of them that was included, I think, was JP Morgan, Bank of America, all these other ones. And they just looked at their like kind of insurance plan. If things go tits up, they were looking at their numbers based on their trades, and they're like, oh, if things go tits up, those banks are like, they need to be bailed out. So What do I believe? I believe they're going to continue the problem. I think unless we actually get some kind of reset, I think they're just going to continue the problem, especially with Tom Lee coming out and saying that the S&P 500 could be at 15,000 or something. 15,000 for the SPX by like, what? I think he said like 2029 or something like that. So that tells me maybe he knows like they're going to just, even if a problem happens, they're just going to bail it out. Because he has to have insider info. Either that or people were like, he made him right for so long. This is the other point, is people made him like he's been right for so long. They tell him what to say maybe, and then people believe in him now. And then everyone goes, oh, I want to be in before the S&P 500 goes to 15,000 because Tom Lee said it. And then it just starts to crash and he was wrong, but we'll see. There is a plan. Yeah, it's called Call Daddy Powell, and then Daddy Powell makes taxpayers even more poor. That's what it's called. Okay, Apple. Good little like even divergence down here, right? Is that here? Yeah, you have it actually a little bit up here for the RSI and for the MACD. So Apple, if that can turn around on the 30-minute, you shouldn't expect too big of a move from Apple. I'm pretty sure this did not have that big of a move priced in. 214-ish maybe, so we could get some kind of lower high. AMD 30-minute crosses up, that'd be a good sign. Ooh, Microsoft looking not good now, man. Now that you made like the higher point and you're starting to come up here, it's like this is definitely divergence. If that rolls over, you could see weakness, but I don't think this is going to go down much. I would think something like 440 would make sense, unless we see something crazy happen, right? We have to pay attention to the craziness, which would be AMC and GME. Now AMC back down 1.5, so. Uh-oh. Who's there? Someone's there. Let's keep these up on this screen. I just want to keep GME there because it actually had the dying out momentum for a moment. Who had the damn, Bed Bath & Beyond is trending again. SMCI, is this a pullback? Well, as of right now, it's getting to more than a pullback for the 30-minute. For the 2-hour, I believe you're just in a pullback. So we'll pay attention to it, but there's no real... I don't see reversal signals in here, at least the 30-minute getting overbought in that. Maybe you could say this just doesn't look like divergence to me on the RSI. It is there for the MACD, but scary, scary stuff there. Wait a minute, I'm on a 15-minute, aren't I? Oh, look, big divergence across. Maybe that's what it needs. Maybe it needs to pop up, create a small divergence with all the big divergences. We'll see. Sloth, sorry about that, though. That's no fun. 960 goals, 920. 960 calls at 920. Oh, so you got like 3 months for that to play out. So the thing with this is the 2-hour crossing over told you pullback right here. So right here should definitely say pullback, right? 906 definitely says pullback. And then now you just want to be patient and see that thing start to turn back around, but it doesn't have to turn back around. That's why that trade's kind of a little bit unlucky. I'm sorry about that, Sloth. Hey, that's good, Polar Bear. Yeah, anything you can find that works. Yeah, Sloth, I just want to give it to you straight. I don't want to, like, you know, convince you of something that's, you know, fake, give you some fluffy news. I'm just telling you right now, the 2-hour is still in a pullback, and you do not seem to have much for any kind of bounce. The only thing you got going for you is maybe a 15-minute divergence on the MACD, but that can just lead to some kind of dead cat bounce, right? That doesn't have to turn around the whole stock, because that 2-hour is just pointing straight down right now. It might mean we need to like curl up on the 30-minute and then see that curl down, find a stronger base. So maybe we like, you know, come down a little lower, go like this, then go like that. Okay, and then we're off to the races. But you have some time. Time is a little bit on your side, but once again, it's an option, so time can eat away at you every single day. It's possible. I don't want to say it's not possible. I'm just saying there's no confirmed bounce as of right now. You'd at least want this 15-minute MACD to curl up for you, and you don't have it on the RSI, so I would really treat that as a dead cat bounce. At least from my research, that's what the MACD is telling me, right? But if that bounce starts to lead to like the 2-hour crossing back up, or even an hourly crossing back up, if you see this hourly, it's by the center line. Okay, so if that 15-minute divergence starts to turn up this hourly, see that hourly cross? Okay, that means we're most likely swing trading again to the upside. We're above the 200. So very, very good look there if this hourly can turn up with that 15-minute divergence. All right, guys, I'm going to use the restroom real quick and say hi to the girls. Give me 1 second here. You guys tell me. You guys got to watch GME for a second. I'll be right back in like literally 2 minutes. I just got to go say hi to the girls. I haven't seen Ari. She was asleep. So see if that thing can complete, and then you might see some good things because momentum says it's dying out, but 27.79, very, very important. So I'll be right back. We're back. Anything crazy happen out there? Anything crazy? Baby girl is going down for her nap. That was the first time I saw her this morning. I was like, damn. Well, I saw her, obviously, but... Jimmy will be up when you're back. I'm going to fishing and plan on a nice surprise when I get home. Jimmy is about to moon. Hey, I appreciate the positivity. Is it worth holding SMCI? As of right now, the charts would tell you no, right? The 30-minute pointing straight down. There's always bounces that can come. But as of right now, it's still saying pullback. So it's risky to hold something for a long side, right? When you see this type of stuff on your MACD, it's still saying pullback. It could bounce at any moment. It could bounce. But you want to see some kind of momentum dying out. As of right now, you're just not seeing the momentum die out. So I got the highs up here. You saw maybe some subtle divergences up here, some subtle here. Opportunity to take some profit up at the high. Oh shoot, I don't have my thing on. I can't tell you what to do, Kalani. You have to make your own decision, but I'm just telling you what the indicators are saying, and it's very hard to call the exact bottom without any kind of signal. So the 2 hour is overall still saying pullback, and you're far away from the center line, so you can have a lot more time to come down. That's true. Now, at any moment, this could start to just rip back around, right? At any moment, that could just start to rip back around, but you don't know when that moment's going to come. That's why you want to pay attention to your risk, see if things are starting to curl up for you. As of right now, you'd say, hey, did you make a weekly expected move for this? If you guys are trading with these type of things, like, you know, one of the things you should learn is still how to make those ranges, right? If you've taken the course, you know how to make at least the range on Robinhood or something like that, like we teach you, because you can do that on Robinhood, Moomoo, Webull, all these type of platforms. You can just do the same method we teach you in the course to get some kind of range. That would really help you out, because this is a dramatic move, right? So this is a dramatic move still going on Monday. Okay, we're down a lot. Let's see, what if my weekly range is at 850? Okay, then I know that some kind of bounce can come. What's my number to buy NVIDIA? $62, $40, somewhere between there. NVIDIA is like an investment at this point, because it's not, it's just not, it's all built up by debt. And first of all, the other point is this: look at the 15-minute divergence you now have on NVIDIA. Now, it's not the best on the RSI, so that's something to pay attention to. 30-minute, you don't even have it. So this could be just some kind of dead cat bounce as well. But at least you have something in order to take a trade if you absolutely feel like you have to take it. You know what I mean? Ariel, thanks so much for subscribing today. And Bist family, thanks so much for subscribing today, by the way, 4 minutes ago. Really appreciate it. So what I'm saying here is, like, this would be a reason just because you're a little closer to the center line, so we could get some kind of bounce from this level. But if you're talking investing, you're like, what's a buy level for NVIDIA? Well, it's when this monthly can turn down and turn back up. That's when the investment actually comes in, right? So I'd say this box down in here, which is right between $50 and $30, right? Somewhere in that box right there was where I was thinking we would see. That's probably the actual, maybe the actual value of NVIDIA, in my opinion. You can't show me a stock that's built up on what seems like fake revenues that need to be looked into, and what seems like just debt, and it's just straight up bubble at this point. That doesn't mean it can't go higher. Look, the 2-hour is right by the center line. So if that wants to curl up right now, it can. So maybe I need to pay attention to a signal for upside. That would be a 15-minute divergence. That's still a little far away from the center line, but a lot can happen on a 15-minute. So that's what I'd be paying attention to the most, Jojo. But I look at it more, Jojo, as an investing opportunity in the future. If NVIDIA, I use NVIDIA every single day, by the way, right? I have a GeForce graphics card. So that tells me, like, if I use the company has some kind of value. I'm sure a lot of people out there right now are using the company, and you just, maybe not the AI side of things that people are so pumped about, but what I'm overall thinking is, investment wise, is this good? Not necessarily as of right now, is what I would say. But it just depends on how you want to look at it. Are you looking for the best price in the next, like, 2 years, or are you looking for the best price this week? It's like, okay, the best price this week is probably something around, you know, if it gets down to it, $117, $118. But the best price could be, what if it's just right now for the week because of a 15-minute little divergence like this for some kind of bounce? That's what I would really be paying attention to. Maybe I want to see the 15-minute curl up, okay, and then the 30 minutes able to curl up and give me a divergence down towards 117 by the end of the week. That would be a good sign. Palantir starting to turn back up. Uh-oh. So this now that you look at Palantir, this is a lot different than over here. Okay, I want to point that out. This is a lot different than over here for Palantir, because you're not very close to the center line. So this here does have a little bit more probabilities than right here of being just some kind of bounce that fades. So that's what I'm saying here is, now, because you're deep into negative territory, testing the high is going to be very difficult. Making a new high is going to be difficult. It's possible. It's just going to be difficult. So this overall would lead me to believe, hey, some kind of bounce that leads to a fade is the most likely scenario as of right now, because of how deep down this MACD is. Hey, that's fine, Ariel. And that makes sense. Like the thing is, if you think the fundamentals of GME are better than AMC, in my opinion, right? Because they're sitting on so much cash. And that's a very easy opinion to make, because they're sitting on billions of dollars of cash. Like, it just makes total sense. I get it. I think the actual value of the company now is actually towards $50 to $70, like if you just did the fundamental calculation. So that would tell me, uh-oh, there's some upside there. AMC, a little harder to see, but you could say this: The box office getting better. The CEO is very confident. They're working on the debt again, right? They're in talks about working on the debt again. I think those are all good things, but those are good things. I think GME has great things because you just have cash. Like they have more cash on hand than most of the companies in the stock market right now. Yeah, long term, Alexander. And I like that statement. Like long term, it could be a good investment. Right now, I think that they bubbled it up. And that's why I'm overall like, and the insiders are selling at the most dramatic levels. I need to pull up this picture. It's on my phone. But yeah, insiders are selling at very dramatic levels, more dramatic than ever for NVIDIA. So that tells me, okay, if the CEO of the company isn't really holding the stock, then why should I? At this point, maybe I want to treat it as an investment and look at a monthly chart, and whoa, that monthly chart is up there. Okay, so the monthly chart is up there, and that more so just tells me like, hey, be a little bit patient here, and patience might pay off. And in a year or two, maybe I'm able to buy NVIDIA for 40 bucks, and then it goes back up to 100 or something like that. Like stocks go up and stocks go down, and stocks go in bubbles and stocks come out of bubbles. It doesn't mean that they can't be that valuable. They just have to prove it over time. They can't just say, we made AI, so we're worth $3 trillion. That's just not how it works when you only have $100 billion in revenue. Now, NVIDIA doesn't have much debt. It has only a little bit of debt. But they just got a huge influx of money. So they probably won't be in debt for a long time, because if those insiders sold, most likely the company's making some money off of these big moves. Well, so Bitcoin selling off, in my opinion, was to suppress AMC and GME at this point. I still see Bitcoin as a good thing overall, but if you know me, you know my take on Bitcoin is I think they want everyone scared out of it before it actually gets implemented, and I'm seeing a monthly divergence. Okay, so monthly divergence. So since we're going to talk about just investing just for a second, my purple zone, I don't think we have to get down there, by the way. I'm not saying we have to. I just want to see this monthly pull back and then turn back up. That's when I'm going to take it as an investment. That's what the MACD is. That's what we're teaching pretty much with swing trading, the course that I'm probably going to add just because there's a little bit more to it. I'd have to make like 6 or 7 videos. So right here, what do we want to pay attention to for this? Well, if this confirmed and went negative, then we could end up down towards this purple zone. That means I could maybe buy Bitcoin for 13,000. I could maybe buy Bitcoin for 3,200. Okay, so if we go down to here, I'll be accumulating. I'll buy maybe 5 to 10 Bitcoin down here. Tesla kind of burning. Did I steal a piece of bacon when I went upstairs? Yes, I did. Do I feel bad about it? No, I don't. So Tesla's still just saying like a 2-hour pullback, but that was a good move. Oh man, that's not good. So now you're seeing another trap set. You got the retest again as well. So you got the actual retest. You would say this is the retest of where we broke down. We're able to blow past that with a gap. See how we gap above that level that we just retested over here? We gap above it. Very important to do. Very sketchy behavior, by the way. We come up for an actual full retest of the broken trend. Now we start to head down. Watch out if that 30-minute cross is over. You could head down towards the weekly expected move. Market is down. What happened? Well, the SPY actually saying I'm curling back up as of right now. The Qs have not curled up on a 30-minute. So way back here, this bar right here said upside's going to be a little difficult. Okay, I have a divergence on the MACD, but not on the RSI at the same time. So this looks like a pullback to me at this point. We're starting to test that daily expected move again. Okay, so what this says here is I don't care why this pullback, I'm just paying attention to momentum, and that is my why. A lot of people are like, what happened to the stock market? This. It's like, the news is always going to come out later, right? The insiders of NVIDIA are selling, and you're going to hear that news later, but the stock price is going to go down first. So you want to pay more attention to momentum. More momentum is more what you want to pay attention to. And right here, it said pullback. Right here, it started to say, uh-oh, dramatic downside. It builds up, tries to turn up, it fails. You see how it tries to turn up, and it fails. So therefore, because like, once you start to keep turning down in negative territory, it's not a good look, and boom, not a good look happens. We're down towards that daily expected move. So you're having just 22. Damn, good price. On the daily scale, it's rolling over. So it is saying daily pullback for NVIDIA as of today. Oh, we're going to go hit it. We're going to go hit the weekly expected move. No way. Oh, no way, dude. No way we hit the weekly expected move. And GME starts to bounce from that level. So there's your 30-minute divergence. If that can confirm, that's a good thing. And NVIDIA has really sold off here. The weekly expected move going to come into play soon. It's really going to come into play soon. That's very interesting. On a Monday, yeah, on a Monday. Now that could mean two things because it's NVIDIA. That could mean this thing gets below that weekly expected move. That's where you see squeezes to the downside, right? You see big drops. But if that wants to see any kind of reversal signal down there, that's more when I would pay attention to it. So 15-minute, still no real divergences even on a 15-minute. Like even this one here is just flat. So you can see a bounce from this level as it's not at the weekly expected move. What do I think would happen if this bounces and it's not at the weekly expected move? I think we get a bounce and then I think that drops back down to that weekly expected move and then we see it more base out throughout the week. We'll pay attention to it, but NVIDIA not a good look for it, as GME not looking too bad, honestly. I mean, not a 15-minute, but on a 30-minute, not looking too bad if that can curl up. It's a just in case, Sabrina. Now, Sabrina, just so you're aware of what the weekly expected moves mean, we teach it extensively in my course that's in the description. It's only $100 for the next like 7 days or so. So why is this so important? Well, the options market was expecting a good move in some direction, right? And now we're hitting that bottom side. If we go a little bit lower, I think somewhere right around here is that weekly expected move. We go a little bit lower. That's all the options market expected for the entire week happening on a Monday, and you have a 68% chance for a bounce. So this just tells you, hey, you know, up here, this is where I took my short trade. Okay, awesome. Scaled in pretty good there. Took a little bit higher actually, but took some profit in here so I could play with house money. Boom, we dropped down to my 125. Okay, now we see the bounce from 125. We drop below it. Notice this about 125. We gap below that. Right, so a lot of the levels that I pay attention to, you'll notice will start to gap below them, gap above them, and things like that, because those levels are very important. It means I'm finding the right levels to pay attention to. 125 was that level, we gap below it. Okay, now we head down until we most likely get some kind of basing out and head up. All right, we got some food going on. Yeah, don't focus on what you could have done. Look at what you could do now. Look at what you could do in the future if you set that up for yourself and react. GME, it's hard to say upside. It depends on what is necessarily going to happen, if we're going to see a gamma or a short squeeze. But the highest that I see GME going, I'm only going to say what the options market tells me. I'm someone who pays attention to the most important support and resistance, and that is calculated in with the options data. I calculate these in every single week. This is a very small range this week, so I think gamma is actually a little bit more likely this week. I don't know about short squeeze. I think gamma is more likely because this is a thin range. They wouldn't expect an upward price move. So 27.79 is as high as GME is really expected to go. If you start to close above that, you have a 32% chance to see something crazy, 68% chance to see it drop. So yeah, SMCI right here was the get out button. 936. AMC not looking pretty. Remember, the next week is very short week with Canada Day and 4th of July. Yeah, 4th of July going to be very, very short week. Light volume, kind of scary in both directions. Difference between DJ and NASDAQ. So the Dow has actually been leading the market a lot of the time. So you see the downward, very dramatic downward move, by the way, very dramatic downward move. The SPY and the Qs didn't necessarily see very dramatic downward move. So interesting to see there. Now we're building up over time. So this right here was us basing out and heading higher. What's the SPY doing? Well, it's basing out and now it might head higher. But I think that put call ratio, they might want a little bit higher at this point. It wasn't able to keep going up. Apple 30-minute divergence is there, so that could go up towards 215, 214 maybe. Tesla's just gonna rip around. Okay, so Amazon here saying 30-minute pullback. So the 30-minute pullback we were talking about looks like it is coming. And NVIDIA still heading lower, so I wonder if we're gonna just hit that weekly expected move and then V-shape. We'll see. I like to see basing out structure, so I'd like us to kind of make something around that, because this is very down, very angled. But you did change the angle slightly, right? So if we go like this, then we go like this, then we need to see us kind of scope out, maybe get a double bottom and then head up, or maybe a higher low. That'd be cool. Thank you, Daniel Lee, for saying that. All right, I gotta eat a little bit. Just leave it on the SPY for now on a 30-minute. Let you guys chat about some stocks back and forth. Just gonna take these off. They keep turning off on me. I'm doing very, very good at eating. Eating is something I'm not very good at, so I'm actually gaining weight now. Very happy about that. Oh, dollar moving up dramatically, actually, a little bit there. Not dramatically. It's a 30-minute chart for the dollar. Q, see they're breaking down below that now. So now you lost it. That's not a good sign for the Qs. But it's so the Qs are doing this as NVIDIA goes towards its weekly expected move. So that's something to pay attention to for some kind of bounce. We'll see. I'm just bad at it. I don't know why. I think it's my brain. Like, I always want to be like researching something, doing something. You see I'm eating and I immediately go look at a chart. Oh, my friends hate how slow I eat. I eat so slow. I gotta rearrange my desk. I hate that my coffee mug keeps hitting this cord. You're like stunned looking at charts, Polar Bear. Shoving food in your mouth. Damn, this move from the Dow though is nuts. As of right now, you would say that's still... Man, this is just wild. Can't tell me there's not gonna be a pullback in this. Like, I wonder if we're gonna see more shit like this over here. That would suck. That'd be so annoying. I'd have to take like little profits all the time. Oof. That's a bad look. Possibly, we'll see. I don't want to call anything based on a fundamental. I just want to pay attention to what the charts are doing. As of right now, the 30-minute for the SPY still saying, hey, I'm in some kind of bounce, but it's not trying to go positive. You notice it's not trying to go positive. Maybe it wants to create that divergence first. The Qs, same thing. They're not even close to going positive. Apple, looks like Apple is confirming the upward move. Apple could head as high as like 214 or something. Not the most volatility. Not the most implied volatility in the options market for Apple this week. But crazy stuff happens outside of the moves, guys. That's what happened to Apple that 1 week, like 2 weeks ago. We saw a crazy move outside of the range. That's why you want to pay attention to it. We compiled up right before. Right over here. This little staggering was right here, was at that weekly expected move, and right when we break it, boom, big upside. So that is potential to happen with some of these stocks. There you go, starting to wick up. Weekly expected move just a little bit lower. Yeah, I don't want to say like, oh, after the debate, yeah, this. Like, I don't want to be one of those guys. It can mess with the market, and if the signals look that way, then yeah, maybe I'll say that. Well, so now for SMCI, you do have the 2 hour that's pulled back. I'd more look at an hourly. If that thing can turn up, hey, you got a positive move left in you. But is that just going to fade? Like a 30-minute pops up, pops right back down. You just want to pay attention to your risk. Okay, this is going to be pretty important. I want to see what the momentum does when this confirms. If this confirms. 1 egg down. We got eggs, we got hash browns, and we got bacon. I love hash browns. Hash browns are so good. What's this? Oh, okay, so now you're in a 30-minute pullback, that's for sure. Probably have a 15-minute divergence right here. You do. See the divergence is there. This right here told you get out of Dodge. It said, hey, no reason for upside is what the MACD was telling you right there. You're still 15-minute curl back. So if the 15-minute can confirm up, okay, great. Maybe some more positivity. 30-minute can turn back up. Maybe some more positivity. You're starting to wick out real hard. Konana, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate you being here. So right now it looks like 50. Oh, and the 30-minute divergence down here too, double bottom divergence down here led to that bounce. Very, very cool. Right there was when that was confirmed. You're still below the 200. 2 hour curls down. That would not be a good thing. Negative territories right there. Daily not able to turn up just yet. I'd like it to make that strong base here, get an early in. That would be very, very cool. But as far as right now goes, you're in a 30-minute pullback and you got to be patient. Whoa, GME now up? Okay. I still want to see if this confirms. And I want to see the reaction. See if all this stuff gets routed to dark pools again. I'm trying to eat fast so I can look at these stocks. I actually was looking at NEO this morning because this 2 hour is why I was looking at it. The rejection divergence, and then you have a little divergence right in here, but you see the tapering off. This is good. Now you see that curling up. If that can go positive, is it going to curl up on the daily scale? That would be a good sign right here. Daily curling up, right? The only problem is you're below the 200, so not the best swing trade ability here. Do you really have like that strong of a base for the 2 hour? I think it's pretty strong. You have pretty much like some tapering off right here. This is kind of what you want to see. You get the rejection divergence, meaning not confirming more downside. Now you can see that go positive. So that's overall what it looks like to me, but you're still below that 200 on the daily scale. So you got to more so look at it maybe from an investment perspective. Mara, that guy, gold. Bitcoin down 3%, Ethereum down 3.3. NVIDIA trying to bounce. Apple trying to turn back up this 2 hour. I think, well, like if you get above that weekly expected move and this 2 hour is able to confirm up, that might be a pretty big move there. Then I'd look for a divergence, but still. Do the Qs, are they trying to hold up? There you go. Look at that. Qs were not able to fully close. You see, we don't want to close below this level. Isn't that interesting? Oh, hot sauce? Oof, yeah. I like eggs and hot sauce. Hash browns and hot sauce, all of that's so good. I like spicy stuff. I'll try to in a sec. Let me finish eating. Yeah, volatility still dropped off. We'll see. You guys want some crispy bacon? My dogs are just sitting next to me. Yeah, true. 20% is great. You don't need to make 100% even. You can just make your little 20%. Call it good. Any money made is good money. I'm gonna switch back over to GME in a second. See if Apple's gonna rotate up this 2 hour. Because Apple's had some squeeze potential the last few weeks, so we've seen it squeeze a couple times. They do. We can look at hood. It did confirm them. Okay. So I remember hood at these highs were like a bunch of wonky divergences. And look at that, divergence comes down. Now we curl up. The 2 hour curls back down. That'd be good. That'd be a good little basing out there. The daily maybe needs some more room to the downside here. It needs to just trickle down for a little bit. And then we can see that turn around. As of right now, you're just getting pretty much some kind of 2 hour bounce. You need that to go positive. See how it's not positive? So you're seeing downward pressure. Good divergence here for the bounce. Now maybe we go make a higher low or come down to the lows again. Maybe make another point of divergence right here, and then boom, you're off to the races. That'd be great because you'd see a 2 hour and a 30-minute at the same time for hood. The last time frame, I think if it doesn't happen right now, or if there's some kind of fake MOAS type thing, I think that your time frame is looking like, I think you have a good time frame right now for the next few days. And then I think that time frame will go away, and then you have to pay attention to like mid to late July. And then if that's not it, well then it's just like, okay, well maybe they just make the stock market go higher and crash the market like when election time comes or after election, but we'll see. I just want to pay attention to the signals. I think the timeline here is like right now is a good opportunity, I think. Good probability. Maybe not for MOAS, but for some kind of bigger bounce. And you're probably like, why am I saying that? Well, it's because the MACD is telling me. I'm not, this isn't, like, none of this is really like me saying my opinion genuinely. Like, I'll make sure it's known when it's my opinion. But like right now is a time to pay attention to when you have a 30-minute divergence like this, right? That's overall what I'm getting at for the right now. Let me pick up some of these egg yolkies. Some egg yolkies and get that all over these hash brizzles. That's right. Lunar. Oh. Terrible look at the gate. Yeah, that's just an awful look. There's no real reversal signal there. Okay, now you're starting to go even, so you have the potential to slightly do it, but look at that direction there. It's just forced down. That does not look good. This one here looks better. From the 2-hour scale, you see that turning up right now. That can start to turn up daily MACDs. So 2-hour divergence, you have a bunch of little divergences here. You have a rejection one here. You have another one over here. You have another one from way over here. All down here on the RSI, you see it. So this right here, if that can confirm and go positive, well, you could reverse back up the daily scale here. So the daily scale could give you this higher low, and then you see that thing go positive. That's what the momentum's saying. It says opportunity is there. It doesn't mean it has to happen. Coin? I don't have weekly ranges for coin. I teach you how to make them in the course, but your main daily support would be, you see the wicks here, you see the low here, there's a little box right here. So I'd say your absolute low here, probably 195, but you're just dropping off. The reason you're dropping off, it just follows Bitcoin. So really, if you want to see like, okay, you want to say, okay, maybe I'll do my analysis on Bitcoin here. Does it have a 4-hour divergence? No, it doesn't. Okay, so this means probably not good things for coin, but you want to see what happens. You want to see what happens to Bitcoin, like pretty much right now, right around that 60,000 mark to this 56.8K. But I don't see any 4-hour divergences. I don't see any 2-hour divergences. So any bounce, just the momentum, not really giving you a lot here. I'm looking at this because coin just follows it. See how the 2 hours just pointing down, there's nothing in there. If you want to find when that 2 hours is going to reverse around, you're probably going to see a 30-minute diverge. You see them down here on the RSI, but just not on the MACD at the same time. So any bounce you get from here could be dead cat. Then you head a little bit lower. But we've seen stuff V-shaped too. But as of right now, that looks like the most likely take. Okay, GME starting to confirm this, so we'll see if that's able to catch some ground, make up some ground there. But 27.79, most important level, the options market gave it to us. What a fun morning session. That there's called a happy play. Okay. I like this. I like this, GameStop. This is good. Now you have to have that confirm. You got 20 minutes left in the bar. Yeah, Rolando, I wish I could be more helpful with that. There's just no real reversal signals as of right now. And it looks like any bounce could just be a dead cap. AMC has not turned up yet. So GME, if this can confirm, then we'll start to pay attention to a 2-hour, but then the Qs are holding up above that daily expected move. That's why these levels are important, right? Look at that. You want to say support and resistance, where are you looking for those? Well, learn how to make the range, Rolando, so you can make it for coin every single week. That might help you, but it does follow Bitcoin, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. But So you gotta really think about that, but making a range will really help you. We teach you a simple way how to do that in the course, and also you can like look up the calculation yourself, but there's a little bit more to it than just like plugging in the calculation. You gotta know the timing of it, when to do it, what implied volatility to use. There's a little bit more to it, but I give a very easy way in the course. Damn. Okay, NVIDIA trying to wick out a little bit. AMD curls up, 30-minute positive territory. Uh-oh. Meta fading that move already. Not too heavy though, good wick. And then GME, it's still holding strong. We just got to see if that can produce something there. Well, the problem is we don't know how much real volume is in GME. If everything's getting routed to dark pools, it's like we have no idea. You had 3 trillion expiration on Friday, and GME had like its lowest volume it's had in a while. Volume indicator I use is just volume, like literally. Dylan, I just type volume in. So yeah, I see the volume. I mean, I just don't like it up on my chart all the time, but you see how it's dying off again. So now a big bit of volume can start to come in. But I'm just saying on the daily scale, this volume on Friday was just, it was sad. It was just sad. So you can see it over here. Volume was 28 million, 36 million, 36. But you notice before that, we were like up towards 100 million all the time. So it's coming down, it's kind of contracting. And the last time we contracted, we saw a big move, and then we contracted again and we saw a big move. So I think we have potential here. And you have the momentum signal that proves it, right? The 30-minute. You have the divergence that proves it. But this is fought against, right? The short sellers don't want this to go up, so you still have to know that going into this. The dark pool situation is like the price that you're seeing here, any stock could be trading at a different value pretty much in dark pools. And what they're doing is they're taking your trades, like say you bought a bunch of stock in GameStop. Okay, on Friday, they were just sending that all to dark pools so it doesn't hit the lit market. That's kind of like the basic thing you need to understand about last Friday. It's like, I think it was AMC in the morning. So AMC in the morning, right? What happened in the morning on Friday? So Friday morning, what did you notice? Well, the price of AMC went down, but during this right here up until about 10 a.m., or I think it was 10 to 11 a.m. when we were going down, 86% of the trades were happening in the dark pools and not hitting the tape. That's why the volume was so trash, because they're only allowing what orders they want to hit the lit market actually hit AMC and the price action here. So really AMC could be trading up here towards $5 and you wouldn't even know it in the dark pools. So I'm not a dark pool expert. I'm very, very clear about that. That's how I read into it from my research, but I'm still learning more and more about dark pools. But from what I understand, if 86% of the trades are happening in dark pools, those aren't hitting the tape here. And therefore you would say most of those might've been buying because the stock was being forced down. So really this right here was only 15% of the data in the morning for AMC. Could you tell me where NVIDIA support level is at on the daily and give your opinion on the bottom of this crash? Well, for the bottom for this week, I think it's somewhere around that 117, right? You can get those ranges on Patreon, guys. It's in the description. It costs a cup of coffee a month, and it is one of the best. It is like the ranges is one of the most useful tools you will ever get from anyone on YouTube. It is very, very useful. I don't just take them from a platform. I wouldn't trust the platform, and people have told me that mine are different from a lot of platforms and they work better. Okay, so something like Thinkorswim has those ranges, but just calculating it yourself, the options market is giving you that data. So we calculate it and we find that in. So NVIDIA, as low as I thought this could go, was about 117, 117.50, and it goes all the way down to 118.29. So it's down towards that area right now. So you would say support might be around this gap fill. That's what you would say. You'd say you draw yourself a box, right? So you would say this, probably we'll take the high right here because we gapped above that, you see that? And then we'll take this bottom wick even, we'll do that. Okay, so this area right here is where you could see some kind of bounce from. Now, is that bounce going to be a full recovery, we don't know, right? Is that bounce just going to be V-shape? Or because we're very, very negative on the 30-minute, are we going to see a bounce like this, then go lower, and then see some kind of bigger bounce in the future? That's what I think is more likely in this scenario, but it doesn't matter what I think is more likely. It matters what's happening in the charts below me. Post-June, yeah, it will go back up to $200, but it's still a great deal. I mean, there's probably, you know, I had that guy price estimate it for me. He said it's worth $1,400 to $2,000. So it's still a great price, and I do run deals all the time. Like I said, if the market gets crazier and crazier, I'm going to try to keep it as long as I can. But for now, we gotta go back to 200 for just a little bit. So we'll be raising it. You pretty much get 50% off of my real price, but the real price of it is actually somewhere around like $1,400. I'll go with the low end, $1,400. So only $100 this week though. Financials, I'm kind of worried about them, but they look like they could get a bounce. Are they bouncing? Yeah, so down here, I was looking at this because look at that divergence. It's fantastic for financials to get this divergence right here, confirmed, goes above here. Now you want to see is the daily turning around. It is. This is all great signs all across the board for financials. The only reason I'm going to be worried is because up here, we were seeing it very unclear. Now you notice that the swings are getting much more clear, okay? The swings are getting much more clear, which tells me if this breaks out and does this and goes like this, well, they've been very clear lately, so this divergence might actually matter, and it's very, very close to negative territory if it forms. So that's not going to be paying attention to, but notice upside is the most likely scenario from here. We can see pullbacks on the inner and on the smaller time frames, but the daily is saying swing trade to the upside. Yeah, so well, if you just look, I believe it's like, I believe I looked at this. Let me see if this is. Let me see if this went up. Zoom in. Yeah, so your M2 money supply has been going up pretty much since February, all the way up until April, and I would assume once we get May data that is going to actually go up one more time. I think they're probably pumping money back into financials right now. They're really worried about there's like 4 big banks. I think it's like JP Morgan, Bank of America, maybe a couple others that I can't remember off the top of my head. They're all very much so in trouble with their risk right now. If something were to go wrong, they would be just belly up. They would be belly up if that risk came in. So I'd just be a little cautious with that. Now we want to see, okay, did this 30-minute print, by the way? Not yet. We got 11 minutes left. So in 11 minutes, we'll see this go. If it's able to confirm here, well, then we have to get positive, but it is a contrarian indication for some kind of bounce. What exactly do you teach on it? Do you need to subscribe? Any data service? No data service. It's just if you want to, the Patreon can give you ranges. I teach you about ranges, but I tell you in the course how to make your own. You can make your own. I'm not trying to hide it or anything. Now I do the calculation, so mine's going to be a little more accurate than the way I give you in the course, but it just saves you a lot of time the way you do it in the course. It's very, very simple. The range just won't be as precise, but it's very close. As far as it goes, though, what do you learn about? You learn about how to actually use these indicators and what's important about them with the center line being up here versus being down here. You'll learn about divergences on your MACD, how you should look for it on the MACD and RSI at the same time. We learn about this indicator a little bit. We teach you about wedges, like some patterns a little bit, how to find them, just drawing your ideas. And then we also teach you risk management and the weekly ranges. The weekly ranges, trading around them is what we overall teach, right? So we teach the weekly ranges when it becomes important, when you see all of these things at the same time. 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. There's so much in the course. There's so much to talk about. And everyone has a different favorite thing. A lot of new people just like the fact that they can learn deeply about the MACD, and then they can use that in their trading, and then they can maybe implement then the RSI, and they can use that in their trading, and then they can have some weekly ranges, and then they can really start to get an edge in the market. Excuse me. But no, you don't have to do anything. It's just if you want the weekly ranges for the stocks I cover, which they've been pretty complicated lately, honestly. So some other stocks proven to be a little bit more useful, like Palantir was a great trade setup. So this is pretty much what you learn in the course, is to find trade setups like this right here. Okay, we make a rapid move up, probably outside of a weekly range. Boom, we get that move down. Now you know, hey, watch out, got to manage my risk. So we teach you how to manage your risk on your trade as well. And change of character in your course. What do you mean by change of character? But break of structure, more so, I don't pay too close attention to, as far as trading strategy, I don't pay too close attention to say, like, you know, am I going to take a trade if this line is cross type deal? I'm more going off of the momentum with how I'm teaching this stuff, because the momentum is the most useful thing. It'll get you in earlier, because we could say, you know, right here, you're like, okay, this is bad. If this breaks this low, I'm going to, you know, say this thing's going down. Well, what happens is we get something that tests that low and then it actually goes back up. The actual entry with my strategies would say, boom, divergence, boom, divergence. It's just a great setup. Boom, there you go. Entry point. Okay, turn back up, exit. 15-minute divergence in here as well to get out earlier. Like, all of that stuff is what you will learn how to do in the course. But change of character, as far as it goes, if you're talking about like character in general, we teach you about how important it is to be patient. We teach you about how, when you're taking a loss, you know, if you're managing the trade correctly, you shouldn't necessarily take a big loss. Like this one here. If you're managing this trade and you're out right here, you actually made money, right? If you got in at the right time, right here, made money, but you should see a 15-minute divergence and be out a little bit earlier, right? We teach that in the risk management portion. So this right here is very, very cool one to see. Now, do we have any reversal signals as of right now? Not necessarily, but it's important to know, even if you know, got in late and you got out right here and say you lost 25-30%, at least you didn't lose 100%. That's something we talk about. It's like, you know, managing your risk so they don't take all your money is just as good as a win in my book. It is, because they're trying to trick you all the time. So the fact that you didn't let them fully trick you is a good thing. And I want you to treat it as a good thing. It'll make you feel better about a loss too. Because everyone has losses. It's just a thing. You're gonna have a loss. It's just, how big of a loss are you gonna have? How involved with the loss are you gonna be? How accountable are you gonna hold yourself? And changes character to possibly end that uptrend. Yeah, so okay, yeah. So character is pretty much what we look for then. You look for dying out in momentum, if that's what you're talking about as far as character. As far as character, if you're speaking of it that way, that's not necessarily how I say it. I would say like reversal and trend type thing. But if you're talking about that, it would be more so what we're doing right here with GME. We're trying to change his character. This is a downtrend, right? And we're negative. That means we are in a negative downward trend. So I guess you would say our character is we're going to head lower as long as we keep curling over. That makes sense. But right now you're seeing a change in that character a little bit with this green bar. And if that goes positive, then you know that's changing. Mr. Wynn, thank you so much for the $2. $1.99 in the chat. Is it okay to add some GME more right now? Well, I can't tell you what to do. What I can tell you is the momentum to the downside with this signal normally means that a stock is dying out in momentum to the selling side and might see some kind of reversal and trend to the upside, because you're very close to the center line with this dying out in momentum. Now, when that is being said, you have to understand with GME, you have to understand this is actively being tried to push down. They're not allowing the numbers to fully hit the tape. So you could see some kind of little pop like this and then it just gets suppressed. So you want to pay attention when this pops. Anytime that rolls over, that means it's not the moment, right? That's your MACD telling you downside is the most likely option. Right now it is saying a bounce is the most likely option that could lead into positive territory. So positivity is the most likely scenario here if this confirms, but it is suppressed. So you have to understand that. Good morning. Thank you so much for the $1.99, by the way. There it is. FFIE. So FFIE is a lot different. just because it's been beat the hell up. But what are you noticing right here for FIE? Same type of signal, but it's on a 30-minute and you've seen downside for a long time. So a lot of these ones would more so just to be careful with it, because look at that, that looks ugly, right? You want to see this daily just turn around for almost like a swing trade. You want to see this just pop up for a second, pop up, get above all these moving averages, and then boom, you can see a big move if it's like allowed to happen at this point. The market makers are just telling their algorithms to only let selling hit the tape, which is very interesting. But eventually it'll break, they'll run out of money, and they'll have to just show upside, honestly. But FFIE, I don't know enough about this short seller problem here to talk about that. I just want to tell you, you want to wait till momentum can confirm upside. And if you're looking for a good signal, that would be a 2-hour divergence. You don't have the best 2-hour divergence right now. You're welcome. SMCI still heading down, you little bastard. Google wonky. Meta, did you not confirmed up? AMD 30-minute might have confirmed. NVIDIA trying to bounce but not doing its best. And Amazon has a 2-hour divergence now. I mean, so 2-hour divergence here is not a good sign. That 30-minute will need to curl up very quickly. But 2-hour divergence here means, hey, daily side for Amazon could start to drop here. So let's sold out my BITI a bit early and took profit, but I can see crypto funny money getting smoked. Yeah, it kind of is. It's hard to find entries here, but I'm kind of liking this look of Amazon. If that could confirm, I just want to see 30-minute divergences at this high. What do I have? Well, I have pretty much a 30-minute divergence. I'm still going to be aware of this being able to turn back up, but so now I know there's 2-hour divergence here. If that can confirm, that'd be good. So what I'm looking for is the opportune time for that to confirm, and maybe it's somewhere over in this area. So I want to pay attention to that, but right now it would be the first signal. Hey, that could happen. If I curl up, it's not happening anymore. And if I curl up, I could do this, and then maybe my timing was just a little bit off on that. I think this is very important to watch for the last like 2 minutes here. You just want that to at least confirm a little bit. That would be a good sign, but this is the contrarian bullish indicator still. This just says bounce for now. If that goes higher, awesome. Then you say, all right, that 2-hour can curl up. If that can go positive. This is all stuff you'll learn in the course, by the way. This is like pretty much what we do here is what you'll learn in the course. We just go more in depth, make it very clear for you so you don't have to sit around, watch 100 videos on YouTube in order to get it, because you have to kind of piece it together on YouTube. Sorry, Jari. All I saw was any idea. I don't know what you asked about. Oh yeah, Lyft. We did look at Lyft last week. Let's see what's developed with Lyft. So see how Lyft has a 30-minute divergence now? Now, not the best tapering, I would say, but it does have the 30-minute divergence. Maybe it's clear on an hourly. You see how it's clear on the hourly? Okay, this can lead to reversal and trend, but I want you to be aware how far away you are from the center line is still pretty far. So this could just be some kind of bounce that leads to a double bottom. That would be better in my opinion, but you still have it, and this can reverse the trend around. So on the 2-hour, you want to see, hey, look at that. We have divergence on the 2-hour, not on the RSI at the same time. But the daily's been beat up for a long time. Maybe this needs some kind of relief rally. We'll see. As of right now, it looks like you might want to head lower, actually. So maybe we do want to see like another hourly pop and an hourly turn down, and then the better buy might be in a week's time or by the end of the week, maybe. So good look so far. It confirmed right here. So far it looks decent. But you're below 200. The selling is still in here. You're still very deep in negative territory for Lyft. All right, let's go back over to GME for just a split second. All right, we got 53 seconds. See if this wants to confirm a contrarian bullish signal. It's very flat though. It's very flat, guys. Very flat is usually not a good sign when it's very flat like this. But you can still take it. You're welcome, Kunik. Let's just see for a sec. Toby's being weird. Maybe tactical Ted. I don't do Zen. I do ONS. So glad to exit NVIDIA at 130. Yeah, I'm glad that people were actually paying attention because, like, these are swing ups that make sense, but once you start to see the momentum die out, you got to be careful every time you see momentum die out on even a 30-minute chart because you're very close to the center. Okay, boom, then you see that dramatic downside. It's because NVIDIA can fall very quickly. Yeah, I saw NNE. It's a good move. All right, that was able to confirm. So now it's saying contrarian bullish signal here. That's what GME is saying. So now what I would do from here is if this 30-minute looks like it's going pretty green, I would just flip over to a 2-hour. I think a 2-hour crossing up is the next confirmation. Look at that, it's already turning up. It's already going green here. So now you just want to make sure this 30-minute isn't rolling back down. If the 30-minute doesn't roll back down, then this contrarian bullish indication might say, hey, this can go positive, right? The longer it just trickles up, then it goes positive, boom, positive trend. Saw, dude. And then where's our buddy? There he is. A lot of wicks down here. So you see the first zone is where we kind of collected a lot of buying. So we'll see what happens from here. In this area, a lower high is the most likely scenario. Just so you're aware, a lower high is the most likely scenario from here. We're already down towards that weekly expected move. Okay. We'll see. But for now, you probably need to create some kind of divergence down here before a bounce happens. It's either it goes below the 117 level and things get dramatic as we break out of this zone, or we kind of hold up at that level and you're early on in the week. So the probability is we hold up at 117, just so you're aware, because it's early in the week. Ooh, you'd like to see a little more positivity than that. Come on, GME, you're gonna have to go positive, man. You got some work to do. When I added GME this morning at 22, but I needed to be disciplined and not take a larger position for risk management purposes. Hey, I think that's perfectly fine. That's very mature. Very mature. I like to hear it. Yeah, NVIDIA, the 117 is the level to pay attention to pretty much. 117.50, I think, something like that. Let's look at these for a sec. I need to reposition. Seven. All right, GME, let's see what you're gonna do here. That 2 hour was able to cross up. Where's that 2 hour at? So it's very deep. So something that could happen this week that I think is very possible is we see some kind of run up that's like crazy and then that just fades completely. Create like a little 2 hour divergence. Right, you kind of see this pop up, pop back down, then we go up again. That would be nice. That would be a great look. But notice that would go all the way into the end of June. But right now you just want to see it's a stock that's fought against a lot. But this is great. You see this, like we taper this way, then we taper this way, and then we can start to do this. That would be great. Yeah, it's just red because NVIDIA holds such high weight. Yeah, so the Qs are red just because NVIDIA is red. And the other stocks are just holding it up at that daily expected move, so. 5% a month? Oh yeah, I think it's doable. Just depends on how you want to do it. Now, it's doable. It doesn't mean you don't have risk. So it's going to be very difficult to do that, say, betting all 100,000 every single month. You know, that's a very risky thing to do. But my course would tell you, you know, the options strategies that you should be doing, you should only use like maybe 10% of your money for those options strategies, right? So, and volatility for mine has to be a little bit higher. But if you're doing smaller, like, you know, if you're just doing upside plays in a bullish market, it's pretty simple. Take your money and run. But what you could do is just try to keep building that. If you're building it well, by the way, build it to where like you can assume the amount of risk you want. Do you want to do $10,000 behind a trade? Because that's pretty much what you would be doing, is something around $2,000 to $10,000 behind every trade, which is very similar to what I do, by the way, just so you know, Tactical Ted. That's very similar to what I do. So what you're pretty much talking about is, can you do what I do? And that's pretty much what's happening now. But you notice I'm in the same boat as you. I'd like to do it just 100% of my time, but I have that marketing side job and I do YouTube as well, just because I want to have some of that income, that risk managed with other money coming into my pocket. And then I have more money to then put into the market over time. But yeah, that's pretty much you're working with the amount and you're going for about the percentage that I go for every single month at that point. Yeah, it's boring, Tony. Hey, that's pretty good, Tactical Ted. That's pretty good. Green is good. Yeah, SPY moving sideways. You're probably seeing like financials and things like that that are going up or holding the SPY up a little bit better. I'd really like to see a 30-minute divergence, but that would mean the Qs might actually head lower. But you notice just because NVIDIA's down, the keys are down. Yo, that's fine. TLT, people think TLT is boring. It's such a fun thing to trade. Like for me, I think it's fun. That's a very small range, so we're probably going sideways for utilities. Oh, there goes Meta. All right, NVIDIA, so now we're starting to see a 30-minute cross up. Let's see if it's a 15-minute. So now the 15-minute can bounce up. You want to see if that goes positive, but right now just moving sideways. Haven't really gone fully down to that weekly expected move yet. Yeah, so we're all pretty similar then. I like to keep my risk very, very small, but still a good amount, right? That's still going to be a good one for me, right? If I can make 50% on that real quick and then find another trade, I can make 50% on that real quick. Hey, that's $1,500 a month maybe. $2,000 or $1,500 week maybe. Sometimes it's like $3,000 to $5,000 a week on very good trades. Not really in this type of market, more so in a bear market. You can see very, very good amounts. But I've been just using the lower amounts for my trades lately. Not really trying to risk anything too much. Apple, solid move. 30-minute divergence confirmed. 2 hour, are you crossing up? Hey, not yet. Not yet. Meta did the 2 hour cross up. Meta looks like the 2 hour wants to cross up. AMC hasn't. GME's trying to. Hey, that's fine too, Tactical Ted. The thing is, if you're only trying to make 5% a month, then you could possibly just do no options, so time's not against you, and just do things more so with a larger amount of the money. That's what I'm pretty much switching to do soon. I don't want to do options anymore because I know that time is against me a lot of the time. I know I'm good at it, so I'll probably do it in certain environments when volatility's higher, but overall, like, learning swing trading is more so what you're going to do in the market. That's why I kind of wanted to make a whole separate thing for that, and we'll come out with that soon. And that's where we'll maybe even talk about crypto a little bit. Because even though you're swing trading, you'll gain other skills like divergence and things like that too are still great to have. Great knowledge. The 10-year up, IWM up. That's not the right range, by the way, but wow. Yeah, Amazon already trying to rig some moves here. Netflix, nice double top. You can. That's how I started out, Polar Bear Man. I started with like 10K. That just like proves how managing your risk is like how you grow over time. Robinhood, you need options enabled. Yeah, so short selling, you need options enabled, and you have to own the underlying stock, which is kind of the whole problem going on with GME and AMC is they're borrowing shares 4 times over, which means pretty much it's like this hedge fund borrowed shares. Okay, so they have the borrowed shares, say, and then this hedge fund borrows those shares from that one. This one borrows shares again. This one borrows shares again, and this one borrows shares again. So you have 5 people borrowing the same share, causing it to look like there's 5 times the amount of short interest in there. And so what they're doing there is saying, okay, so if the problem comes to light, that pretty much means only one hedge fund will survive. 4 of them might die down. M340i BMW. Yeah, that's pretty good. Thank you, Gordon. See what I mean? That's like little amounts like that really start to add up, and that's a great percentage. That's what, 6%? That's 6.25%, maybe. They really do not expect much this week. Maybe they have enough money to suppress it, but it's 30 minutes, not looking the strongest. You want that to just leak up, go positive, keep that 2-hour curled up. SQQQ, I'd more so pay attention to the Qs. You see how they're basing out here? I'd more so pay attention to the Qs if they start to confirm divergences. You don't really have the best ones here, but you still have it. So if SQQQ confirms this 15-minute little divergence here, it's not the best one, but if it does, you would say there's some risk of the hourly crossing back up. Where's the hourly positive territory? It can see another positive move. So at that point, if the 15-minute confirmed, I would probably, myself, the MACD would be telling me, hey, like maybe you want to take some off the table because this looks like upside, right? So this would say, hey, upside potential, so why do I want to assume all my risk there? You know what I mean? And you have a 2-hour pretty much just saying it's in pullback mode, and you're seeing a lot of wicking, you're seeing 15-minute divergences. It just, yeah. It's more so when you see a trade setup that looks like it's going to go the opposite way of what you saw a week ago, then that's mostly how I take profit. I'm like, once I see a signal that looks like there could be upside if I'm trading for downside, and it says, hey, there is potential upside here, then I just go, okay, let me scale down, make some profit here, and maybe leave some runners or something like that, like I did with NVIDIA. Dollar screaming. And puts are still up there, so puts are the main thing right now. Dollar trying to move higher here. The thing with the dollar that I want you to pay attention to was the insider. It looked like an insider buying right in this area before the day started. But maybe that insider buying was in all the stocks that are up dramatically right now, and those just start to follow NVIDIA. We'll see. But dollar's starting to get a solid bounce here. We closed back below 105.65, but this would just be another higher low. So 2 hour curls up, higher low for the dollar, more selling coming in. People said, hey, there's no insider selling. Now all the articles are talking about how NVIDIA has the most insider selling over the last few months, as the most. And everyone was calling me stupid saying, they're not selling in here. Yes, they are, is in the data. I headed off NVIDIA earlier. Seems to be working the right direction. Hey, that's fine. That's okay. If it worked for you, hey, I'm not going to bash you on you too much. But NVIDIA, that's fine as long as you're playing the signals very, very closely, right? I played these very, very closely. I already took profit. I'm not worried about this stock at all anymore, right? But I saw the signals. Maybe you saw the signals. I'm just saying it's going to be one to watch very, very closely. Once you do start to see triple divergence on a 2 hour, you can start to roll over daily charts, and that's what we're doing right now. So unless there's a rigged move up by the end of the day, this would be daily momentum shifting down for a pullback. But I want you to be aware of the 15-minute divergences down here that are forming. They don't look good, actually. They just look very flat on the MACD. So I think maybe a dead cat bounce comes pretty much for NVIDIA. I'm going to get some pho. God, I'm jealous. God, I'm so jealous. What time frame is the best to use for that? It depends on the trade that you took. So in the course, we teach you how to do it on a 30-minute. Like if you took a 30-minute divergence play, if you took a 2 hour divergence play, if you took a daily divergence play, we teach you kind of how to do it on every single one. You're welcome, Matthew. Enjoy your pho. Has been in the market forever, probably operating a hedge fund, trying to get people to buy in, saying it was a golden opportunity right now. It could, and like the thing is, if breadth comes into the market, we can go higher. We could really see this thing blow off. It has already seen the blow off top. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to see the 30-minute curl up, the 30-minute start to curl down. Things start to get bad right now. But it doesn't mean I'm not aware that this can go higher, because the Qs do have some 15-minute divergence in here, which tells me they can bounce. So it doesn't matter what I think. I'm not going to be cocky. I'm not going to have an ego about it. I'm just going to say if this signal confirms, I should assume that there is a bounce. If that goes positive, I should assume there's more positivity here, and maybe just look out for a little 15-minute thing like this, right? See something like that, that would be a signal to pay attention to. And it's by that weekly range, right? We talk about that in the course a lot. When we use all of the things we talk about on this channel, we just use it to teach you it near the ranges. Bought a small amount of NVIDIA. Yeah, it looks like some kind of bounce could happen from here, but you could head lower first. That's important to note that your weekly range is down in this area. So we could do something like this real quick, and then see that start to, come back. So 5 minute, you don't even have divergence in the near price action. You just have it on the RSI, not necessarily on the MACD at the same time. 5 minute, not the best to pay attention to, but the 30-minute will need some relief eventually. And I think that relief could just be a V shape, right? Or it could be this, and then we dip down in and go back up, right? We break out of the zone. Okay, we test back in it, and now we go off to the races. That would be a very interesting look. Apple and things like this, if they're using them to hold up the market, maybe they rip some money away on the other stocks and just have NVIDIA go higher. And that will cause the SPY to go higher. If the other stocks that are holding it up right now start to go down just a little bit, but NVIDIA really pops, that can still hold the market up. The real golden opportunity was, yeah, it was definitely back in October. October was where the big opportunity was. I think it could be here. I'm not going to say it is, but I think it could be. It could already be in. This could be some kind of dead cat bounce. Then we just continue that negative trend. It could be. I just want to be very aware of the things going on, right? So the Qs, if they turn up on this 30-minute, it's still within range of going positive. So that could mean we're going to go into a positive trend. I have to be aware of that. The annual move is still up here towards 492, right? So that's as high up as the options market would expect it to go this whole year. What a funny day. Hey, wait, you made another 7% on that? That's good. But I'm not going to say like, oh, a top's definitely in. I'm never going to say that. I'm always going to pay attention to the signals and be like, this could be the top right here. This could be the top. It could. But it looks like we're getting some divergence that could do this, and then this most likely will be a point where I would say, yeah, that looks like a top. Now, why would I say that? Because the 2 hour would maybe keep doing some work here, turn back up and give me some kind of subtle divergence, right? This comes down a little bit, goes like that, boom. Then that divergence there will be where I'm really, really paying attention to, because 2 hour divergences like to roll over daily charts. All right, and the daily chart looks like it wants to roll over soon. So if they're going to rig this higher again, they got to do it soon, because that daily is going to cross over tomorrow, and that's not a good sign. But it would just say pullback, so this could be some kind of pullback top too. So you have to be aware of that. This could just do this for a little while, curl right back up, and then come back down. We'll see, right? We could do something like this. That would be the signal where I'm really paying attention to it. As of right now, we don't have that signal, but it doesn't mean we can't see some dramatic downside, some kind of downside move, goes back up, then it pulls down. Remember we said the point to pay attention to is now, and then the point to pay attention to in the future is mid to late July. That's what I believe, unless they're going to elongate it for some time and go all the way into, say, September. That would be interesting. A lot of the time you see the market sell off in the fall. SPY doesn't even look weak here, by the way, on the daily charts. It really doesn't. Qs, they do, because they're trying to close below your 9, which is a first indication that we're going to see at least probably a test of the 20. See how we test the 20 here? Throughout this whole time, we just like whenever we went below the 20, we bounced up. So if we go below the 20, hey, we could bounce up. We'll see. We'll see if we'll see what the signals are saying at that point. All right, let's go back over to GME now, unconfirming everything probably, right? You see the 30-minute trying to curl back down. So this would tell me, hey, not the moment. But that hasn't curled back down yet. Yeah, it's not looking pretty, but you're down towards that weekly expected move. This is where you could see a bounce. I'm saying the 15-minute looks like some kind of bounce is going to come here. We could react all the way down to like 117, 117.50 before that happens, like this zone. We could react to the bottom of it first. But if that curls up, hey, it says bounce. And then I think maybe something like this would make the most sense, or something like this would make the most sense. Well, look at the fundamental side. Why is it not a good investment? That's important. And I understand. Some people see it differently, but why? Why, Kunik? Why do you think it's a bad investment? Because the why is the most important part. That's what we teach you about these indicators. I can tell you what they are, cool, but I can tell you how to use them, why they're important, right? That's why I'm like, if you say GameStop's not the best investment, why? Its earnings are going down. That is a valid statement. Earnings go down all the time. Let's go look at some stuff here. Let's go look at, let's just say Apple. So that's been going up for a long time. The last time earnings were down, what happened? The stock went up, right? Let's go look at Amazon. Amazon, earnings were down. Ooh, that's a bad sign. But right here, earnings being down was a good thing. And look, good earnings, downward. Right? Earnings doesn't necessarily matter too much, honestly, in this type of market, because we're in a debt-based system. So it's just like, it's what are they innovating next that could bring in more value to the company is more so what's going on. So what I would say is, when you look at something like GameStop, or even just this right here, Amazon. Well, Amazon, when we see monthly momentum turn up, that's why I trade based on momentum. When we see that monthly momentum turn up, what do we see? Well, we see positivity over the next 12 months. Okay, so when we see NVIDIA cross up on the monthly, what do we see? Oh, positivity, right? When we look at all these other stocks, you would say the same thing. They're all in debt, by the way. Apple's in $100 billion worth of debt. $100 billion worth of debt. So their profits aren't keeping up with their debt, right? So what we want to see here is maybe we want to take the same statement with, I don't know, maybe Palantir. Palantir, we don't have enough data, so this thing might have to do it on a weekly scale. All right, maybe we go look at SMCI. If that has enough data, this thing curled up way over here and said, hey, this is a great investment. Now, that took a long time, but it said about, what, $23 was a good investment. Okay, cool. That curled up later on. Now, what do we notice about that? So we just looked at those. Are these good investments? Okay, that we showed you where they were good investments. So now let's look at GME and AMC. Just from a momentum perspective. GME is curling up on a monthly chart. And they're sitting on $4 billion worth of cash. And they just put out hiring 4,000 new employees. Does that sound like a company that's going under? That's going to go to zero? Sure, it could go down. You're right. But does that really sound like a company that's going to zero? Okay. And it's crossing up on the momentum scale here on the monthly chart. We'll have to see if by the end of the month that's still curled up, but let's look at AMC even. Oh, is that curling up? Well, that is curling up on the monthly chart as of right now. So AMC, now you might say the fundamentals of AMC, they're worse than GME most likely. All right, when you look at it, because they're not sitting on a bunch of cash. At least GME has a bunch of cash. That argument alone says there should probably be some upside there. They're sitting on $4 billion worth of cash that they didn't have even a few weeks ago. Now they're sitting on it. That's great. They can do a lot with that. They can hire more people. They can make the business better. Or maybe they start to change what the business is altogether. We'll see. We'll see. We don't want to speculate too much. But AMC, you would say, oh, well, they're in debt, blah, 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 so the debt's going to kill them. Well, what if they were in talks to rework the debt? That'd be a good thing. That's a good thing. People talk about that all the time in the regular stocks that you probably trade. Google, Microsoft, they did all that stuff at the beginning too. They did all their debt too. Apple redid their debt. Okay, awesome. So that's actually a good sign. They're trying to work with the debt. All right, what's the other good sign? Well, people are going to see movies a ton. People are going to see movies a ton. And what's the other thing? Well, as far as how I do things, I pay attention to momentum, and this is saying contrarian bullish signal. The last time we saw a contrarian bullish signal, a few months later, you saw a big run up. So is it a good investment for a long time? That's to be determined. Right here, it told you this is not a good investment for a long time. And guess what? That proved itself. But over here, it said it was. And right now, it's saying, hey, this is potential. Right? That's what it's saying. It's saying potential. So GME is saying the same thing, potential. The last time that curled up, hey, 24 months later, it went way up. That's all you got to think about there. If you're thinking from an investment perspective, most likely because they are fighting this stock, the fundamentals of the business would be better if they weren't fighting the stock, by the way, just so you know. It makes them look a lot worse with a chart like this, doesn't it? But that is because they're actively pushing it down. So monthly scale, momentum saying, hey, I'm getting a bounce. I'm just trying to be honest with you. That's how I do things. It's not like you want to be like, I feel, if you feel like it's a bad, words are important. You feel something, but is it? I feel this wouldn't be a good investment. But what is the chart telling you? The chart's telling you, hey, momentum is turning up. The chart's telling you, hey, or the business is telling you, hey, we're sitting on $4 billion worth of cash. You can't say that people didn't like that based on that monthly chart. But Kunik, there's a lot of risk to that because of the short seller problem. So I understand that. Like if from a perspective of, is there a bunch of risk in it to lose that money because of the short sellers? That would be something to pay attention to. Like you have to pay attention to your risk. NVIDIA here just looks like if the 30-minute bounces, right now you're really, really low. So that would really lean me towards some kind of higher low. But if that proves to reverse itself around, we're going to see this 2-hour curl up. So that's by the center line. 2-hour curls up. We're probably testing the high, going to make a new one. I don't think that's in the cards. I think we see a 30-minute bounce, and then we see that drop back down. But that's just what the chart's telling me as of right now. And then it's also saying, hey, I got a 15-minute divergence on the MACD, but not necessarily the RSI at the same time. So that's telling me very flat divergence here, which leads me to more proof of some kind of bounce because momentum behind this might not be the strongest. We've seen crazy things before, though. You know, we've seen crazy things with NVIDIA before. So if people just jump on that train, hourly turns up, hey, positive territories right there, then we're most likely going to see upside. But if the 15-minute just bounces and curls right back down, it's not looking great. Well, most likely the crypto decline and the NVIDIA decline is big boys taking profit. Remember, I told you their collateral for their stuff they're doing with GME and AMC is in this right here, and they have money probably in crypto as well. I don't think crypto is really selling off for any good reason. I think it's just selling off because momentum is dying out. They need the money to pay to suppress AMC and GME more, or even buy the stock in dark pools and just not let it hit the tape yet. Right? They don't want people going nuts and buying this stuff. Because then you get a gamma squeeze if you let it hit the lit market. Gamma squeeze, 27.79. You get above that, you got a chance. Alrighty, it is 11 a.m. So let's try to just do like a little bit of a breakdown here, and then I got to hop off for a little bit. So for now, the 30-minute is crossed up, the 15-minute is crossed up, still within range of going negative. So it looked like from the insider buying that happened with the dollar, you could see an upward move from the SPY if they wanted to, because they're investing, right? So you're seeing a lot of stocks pop higher, which tells you they invested in some stocks, but they're not investing in NVIDIA. Now, they could switch that, invest it back into NVIDIA and take profit in those other stocks, and the stock market will still look fine. It might even go up because NVIDIA is going up. Or Apple and NVIDIA go up at the same time. That's what we saw last week. If just two of them go up at the same time, you get an update on the SPY. That's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. So what you would say from here is 30-minute crosses over at any time. Even if we react up to here, 30-minute crosses over, it's right by negative territory. So maybe we need to base out with something like this. Use that monthly as support at this point for the SPY. We'll pay attention to that. And then we want to see, hey, at the grand scheme of things, we're in a 2-hour pullback. If that thing can rotate up, it looks like a swing trade. Okay, so the Qs, same thing. If that 2-hour curls up, it looks like a swing trade. All right, so what do we want to pay attention to? The 30-minute. See how that's negative right here? Okay, so if we're going to see a move from the Qs, we'd really like to see if that move is going positive, and then if this is actually turning up that 2-hour chart. That's going to be very important. If we do that, we can head up towards 483.41 today, or all the way up here towards 489.47 by the end of the week. So we'll pay attention to that going forward, see if we get a 2-hour divergence. XLU most likely going to just keep moving sideways all week, so we'll pay attention to that a little bit. But Apple, 30-minute divergence. What does that like to do? Well, it likes to roll over 2-hour charts, right? Roll up a 2-hour chart here. Okay, big positive move. The reason this move could be big and positive is because, well, your range is right here. So if this confirms, you're breaking through the range and confirming momentum up, you could see an actual like rapid move up because you're outside of the weekly range at that point. So pay attention to Apple. If it starts to confirm on this 2-hour, you might see a big move. For Tesla, same thing, right? So 2-hour curls up, boom, good positivity that can come. But for now, the 30-minute, if that rolls down, watch out, negative territory. You start to lose 180.92. Not looking the best, just means, hey, maybe I do hit this low, go make a new one. But I also could right now be doing some kind of cup and handle at the end here. So we'll pay attention to it going forward. Amazon, this one here kind of confirming a pullback on the 30-minute. So if we're going to pull back on the 30-minute, just pay attention if that bases out at any time, curls back up. Very important. The reason you got to be paying attention to that is just because you do have 2-hour divergence here. So you don't necessarily want that to confirm. That's going to take some time. So that'll give the 30-minute time to dip down and see if that's going to curl back up. If that doesn't curl back up, or you get some kind of small curl up and then that curls down, 2-hour confirms downside. It's looking like downside is the most likely scenario for AMC if this were to confirm as of right now. At least pull back at first. As it goes negative, that means negative trend, which means a little bit worse things can happen. As far as NVIDIA goes, the 2-hour did the goal. It got down towards that center line. Now maybe we can see another rapid move up. Now we have to see if that's curling up and wait for the momentum to confirm that. First of all, you're going to need a 30-minute to turn up and go positive. If we're going to V-shape, you just got to go positive right away. If we're going to go positive for a brief moment and roll back down, you know, hey, that's not the moment. Maybe we have more work to be done. Maybe a stronger base, more tapering is needed. Okay, that's what I would say about NVIDIA, but you're in a zone where the buyers really showed up last time, right? We broke out. We never came back down to that level, or at least the algorithm pushed it higher past this level is what I would say. So we want to pay attention to it. You got a little 15-minute divergence. Just see if that's able to actually go positive and remain positive. That's a key thing. AMD actually able to confirm this 30 minutes ago, and boom. So that is saying upside right now. So the weekly range for AMD, it's actually higher than here. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's like 6 points higher than here. So that's a big point to pay attention to. You got 6 points in order for this thing to really turn up. What's the 2 hour look like? Well, the 2 hour wasn't able to cross over yet. If that turns over, that's bad. But right now, the 30-minute is saying that's not going to cross over. That's what the 30-minute is saying right here. It's saying that's not going to cross over. Now, if that just flips right now, it says, okay, now it can. Right? It's very, very quick. You got to be on your toes, trade like water on this channel. That's what we overall say. But this says potential upside for AMD. That is what the chart is telling you at this moment on a 30 minutes. So you got to pay close attention. It's a shorter time frame. 30 minutes, not a big time frame. Meta, this one here, curled up and went positive, not rolling over as of yet. So the 2 hour here for Meta, very important, looks like it wants to cross, right? So if that crosses, that would tell us the most likely scenario, positivity. So if I want that 2 hour to cross, I really don't want this 30-minute to cross back down. If that 30-minute crosses back down, that 2 hour is not going to cross back up if it crosses down right now. So if the 30-minute crosses down, I'd be looking to the downside for some kind of better base. That means we might just need a stronger base for Meta to head up. But for now, it's positive in positive territory, so that's something big to pay attention to. AMC, this one here, not even able to curl up on a 30-minute, so no positivity for AMC coming in just yet for the 30-minute. That's something to pay attention to. I think the main signal here is when the 2 hour crosses up and goes positive. I think that's a very, very good signal. And then obviously, if you want to see a gamma squeeze, you got to get above 536. You got to get above 536. And for GME, right, 2 hour curling up is important. And look at that, we're doing it right now. But it doesn't look very strong. We're not taking back these moving averages. So we got to take back these moving averages. Go positive is the main thing. And then for GameStop, it's a shorter level this week, which is great. So not as much price action expected. So if something crazy does happen, that would be a good thing because they wouldn't expect it. And therefore, a gamma squeeze is a little bit likely there if we'd see a rapid move up. So you just got to get above 27.79 for that to happen. What's happening on the 30-minute? Why does this look so good right now? The 30-minute just confirmed divergence. Okay, you just confirmed that momentum to the downside is dying out on the shortest time frame, only the 30-minute. So some kind of bounce can happen from there if this can go positive. Notice it's not going positive yet. It's not positive. It has to go positive. But this would be the indicator saying, hey, if you want to be bullish, this is a reason right here. Divergence down here, divergence on the RSI at the same time. So there is a reason here, and I get it. And then you just need to manage that trade, which is what we teach you in the course. So overall, I got to hop off. It's already 11 o'clock, so I got to hop off and do other things. But for you guys, what I wanted to mention was just the $100 course, guys, for about 7 more days. Get it while you can for $100. It's literally just $100 to get better at trading. Learn all of this stuff very clearly. Get those 5 reasons to trade. Learn how to use these weekly ranges properly. And I give you an option strategy for more volatile times and teach you how to manage your trade. So if you're in, say you want to take this play right here. All right, this play right here, this is the exact kind of setup that we would look for. The only thing that's missing is the weekly range. Okay. That's awesome. So maybe I only have 3 reasons to take a trade here. Now I want to manage that trade, and I teach you how to manage it exactly how I manage my trades is how I teach you. I teach you about taking a loss is better than losing everything, all that kind of stuff. So I just want to say this, though. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'm sorry I have to hop off at 11 today. I tried to stay on as long as I could. But if something crazy starts to happen towards the end of the day, I might go live again. But for now, this week, I'll be giving out YouTube videos every single night. And that course will be $100 all week. So get it early so you can know how to trade in a market like this one, especially if we start to hit those ranges. You're going to want to know how to use those ranges properly and see momentum dying out and those things. So thank you guys so much for joining. Really do appreciate it. Wish you guys nothing but luck with the rest of your trading for the rest of the week. And I hope you have a good day. All right. Peace. Excuse me. I coughed. All right, bye guys. I'm gonna go get me some lunch. Oh, by the way, you guys can hang out here for a little bit. I usually leave it on for like 20 more minutes. If you guys want to hang out and chit chat, you guys can hang. I'm just not gonna be here. But you guys can watch this signal together and chat back and forth if you'd like. Peace.